what you do want to see from a head coach that has had success, that it's not going anywhere. This is as much of a shakeup as you can have on the offensive side of the ball from a staff's point of view.
Other than going outside higher for OC.
Same, and
which we know is already not the case and not happening. And at least if I were Andy and I were trying to make the argument in my head, I could at least say, hey, if I'm going to change everything else, I got to have something. Like, I got to have something that ties the strings together. Because I can't be also doing all the stuff I normally do and oversee the implementation of a new running backs coach, a new assistant running back coach, a new wide receiver coach, and all this other stuff. Bieniemy can help me with those things. I can look big picture, and he can help tie the strings together that put these in there. Plus, O'Shea did call plays. He was an OC for a year, and he called plays. So, like, he's got some sense of maybe a bigger picture of what it takes to help run an organization. So, I'll give him this. It's not nothing. I'm still a little surprised Tobe's name hasn't come up. I'm still a little surprised they didn't at least entertain an interview for a different OC. But I'm not going to choose to just like dwell in it. Instead, I'm going to hope that this obviously works and that it is a good fit outside of that. But I also don't want to pretend like they're not doing anything, because the list of names you just said, I mean, it's pretty clear they've made some significant changes to an offensive staff that is, I don't know, stalled out might be putting it nicely.
The only change they haven't made, I guess it could still happen, is their offensive line coach and Andy Heck. And that it is interesting. So to me, it is easy to move on from assistant running back coaches and wide receiver coaches that haven't been with you forever. You notice, though, the names that they have kept, and I understand it's probably way more challenging if you're Andy. If you say I'm gonna ride or die with these guys, if you will. That is Dave Tobe and that's Andy Heck. One of his two longer tenured staff members doesn't look like they're moving on from them, but they are willing to move on from just about everybody else on the offensive staff.
Well, but here's the thing. Here's the argument I can make for Heck versus the other guys we talked about. Remember when I was mentioning Nagy, and I thought his biggest criticism is that during his time as the offensive coordinator, name one player who got better. Name one wide receiver. Name one running back. Name somebody to me who improved as an NFL football player. Under Andy Heck, he has technically gotten two guys that they were willing to give massive contracts
Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith. Yeah.
So, like, at the very least, there's two players they really like. He made Esapole look pretty decent in an incredibly difficult spot start situation towards the end of the season. So, like, he actually, and like, look, Simmons had success under him when he was on the field. So, like, the argument for Heck is there has been some improvement of some guys. I'm not saying it's all been gangbusters at the offensive line position. They've had bad offensive lines. They've had problems there too. But he does have at least a couple of names to hang his hat on.
That's fair.
I'm not saying it's perfect.
And this is where I don't know how much of the run scheme he has a say in versus Andy versus now Eric Bieniemy versus the running back coach Todd Pinkston before. Because I put some of the run game on the O-line coach as well, but you might be right where that he's not as heavily involved in that. I would think the O-line coach would be heavily involved in the run scheme, but maybe not as much as I think.
I don't think I do think he helps the run scheme, but I don't think he's in charge of like making sure Isaiah Pacheco chooses the right hole.
For sure.
His job is to make like I felt like I was going to say that. I was going to sound weird, and I already had one this week. His job is to make sure that the running back has an opening to run through. Yeah. His job is not to make sure that Pacheco runs through it.
No, I
think that's the running back coach. I think that's Andy Reid's job. I think there's a division of duty there, and Heck's job is to make sure that there's an actual opening to run through. That's all.
Yeah. Thank you for the clarification.
I had to really after the one that you guys ended up cutting earlier when I was just talking about the stadium. I got to make some adjustments to the way I think.
Yeah.
I'm giving you just straight dome. Here's the thing. Sometimes when you say things on the air, you hear it, right? Like sometimes you say and you're like, I shouldn't have said it that way. Until somebody texted in or until you guys started snickering, I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't notice in that moment that I had said anything because in the context of what we were
there's
talking
some
about,
that are more obvious than
sense.
others. Yeah, there's some that are more obvious. When we're talking about Tennessee cities and you don't say cities, that's going to stop everybody in their tracks.
Yeah.
But there's some that, you're actually just making sense when you say it. But
then if you pull that one line out separate from the rest of it, not so much. And look, we can talk about the offensive staff changes. I think later on in the show, Drew did pull a clip. Travis Kelce was talking about Eric Bieniemy.
Yep.
He did say he was excited to see him in the building. Does that do anything for you?
What do you mean?
Why would Travis Kelce see him in the building unless he's working there? That's not his building unless he's working in the building.
I think that's just a generic comment. Like, if I'm playing football, it'll be good to see him back in the building.
Okay. You think that's just vagary?
I think you're reading too much into that.
Too far?
I think
Not too far?
Travis Kelce, whether he decides to play or not, like that's just something you would say about anybody. Like, yeah, we're excited to have him back in the building. You've heard that phrase.
I know, but the other day, remember, like 2 weeks ago, he said the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like they weren't even a part of him anymore. He didn't say the team.
Well, maybe he's overcorrecting.
He didn't say
now.
my team. Oh,
we can just overanalyze every word that he says.
Doing that? Well, Taylor Swift loves to be cryptic on purpose and make people, read the tea leaves and, follow the breadcrumbs. So maybe this is all an intentional effort in that case. No, I do give the Chiefs some credit. Again, I would have made a change in offensive coordinator, and that's fine that they didn't. I've accepted that part of it, and I don't want to bear down on it too much until Eric Bieniemy's actually given a chance to do the job and we have results in order to discuss the job. But they are clearly making changes everywhere else on the offensive staff.
Yeah, I'm happy to see it.
Some of the offensive line, some of the running backs, some of the wide receivers, a little bit of everywhere. So.
Needed to happen. I think these are easier moves to make. Assistant running back coaches, offensive assistants, and all. The tougher one is moving on from your OC, which they made without any hesitation. I know they're phrasing it as, his contract expired and he's got a better opportunity, but now we know he's probably not going to be a head coach. We're talking about Matt Nagy. They pretty much, they tried to make it seem like it wasn't a big deal. It is the quietest, clearly we don't want you as our OC without saying it out loud that we've it's bizarre actually to me. Tell me any other organization. Look, this is where Andy, I guess, gets some credit, out of respect for Matt Nagy. You're not trying to embarrass anybody, and this is their way of doing that. Versus if they would have flat out said, we're not extending his contract. They never really said that, even though that's what they're doing. They chose not to extend Matt Nagy's contract, but they never have had to come out and say we didn't extend Matt Nagy's contract.
No, I don't know. It's like the opposite of quiet quit. They quiet fired him. They fired him. They didn't want you back, but they also didn't just say we fired Matt Nagy. It's and look, I think he knew. This is the exact same way it went at the end of the time with Eric Bieniemy, where it's hey, let's not sign a new contract. Let's either get you a head coaching job or get you an OC job that can get you a head coaching job. And honestly, again, this is a pretty good year to be an OC looking for work. It honestly doesn't get much better than this in a year, being an OC looking for work. Half the damn league's available. Brian Daboll reportedly really wants the Bills job. Not surprising. Mm-hmm. Brian Daboll really wants the Bills job. I don't know if he wants it after that press conference today with their owner, but reportedly really wants the Bills job. It is said that because of that Philadelphia, the Eagles, who wanted him as their OC, is going to move on from him as the OC and look at other candidates because he already has lined up the Titans OC job if he doesn't get the Bills job. The Titans will wait for him. The Eagles won't. And so it's he could have the Eagles OC job now if he doesn't get the Bills head coaching job, but his consolation prize is I'll go be the OC for the number 1 overall pick from last year.
It's kind of what's happening, though. It's kind of what's happening with Mike McDaniel. Again, the reporting is that Mike McDaniel will be the next OC with Justin Herbert and the Chargers, but also he's still a candidate for the Ravens and the Raiders job. So it is very similar. Most likely, McDaniels will be the OC in LA, and as you said, most likely Brian Daboll, if he doesn't get the Bills job, he'll be the OC in Philadelphia. We will talk more about what it means for McDaniel to be in the AFC West, if in fact that is what is going to happen. But there was some news. I think it's a lot of fun for anybody that grew up in Kansas City or has been a Royals fan for a very, very long time. Carlos Beltran is headed to the Baseball Hall of Fame. He'll be inducted in Cooperstown later on this year.
Probably not as a Royal. He'll be a Met.
Right, and I get that. Look, 20-year career. You spent 7, though, in Kansas City. You started your career in Kansas City, but I understand why he will likely go in as a member of the New York Mets. There's a couple thoughts. Can we just start with the Royals angle, and then we can get to my issue with the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Because as a Royals fan, as somebody that grew up here, Carlos Beltran was the first Royals player. On the football side, it was Tony Gonzalez. Carlos Beltran was the first baseball player I remember watching and that I actually became a fan of as a kid. Okay,
you're a little too young to remember George Brett.
Yeah, I looked it up last night because I was trying to get my timeline correct and everything. I believe so. I was 8 years old when Carlos Beltran made his Royals debut. Okay, so at that point you're starting to understand, starting to remember also what is going on. And Beltran, not only was he just sensational to watch, and up until even 2015, for the most part, the Royals as an organization were not any good. And so anytime you had a star player, you knew there was a decent chance they were going to get traded. And I was so devastated as a kid when during the broadcast, I think it was when it was the RSTN days maybe or whatever, when they announced that, Beltran's getting traded and, I think it was, what was that, Mark Tien and Joe Buck, or John Buck, Was the
Joe Buck might have been better.
It might have been John Buck,
Just
the catcher.
the
John Buck, the catcher.
I liked Joe Buck as a person.
Yeah, but John Buck was part of the trade. Of course, that was a disaster, the way it played out, knowing what Carlos Beltran ended up being, which is now a Hall of Fame player. And I was so devastated when he left, man. I was such a fan of his. I remember, I don't have the jersey anymore, but I bought a Mets Carlos Beltran jersey.
I
had a Mets luggage tag.
Luggage tag?
Yeah, I know. My uncle got me that.
You were ready to quit the squad. You liked Beltran
I was
so
very
much.
upset. That only lasted for like a 2-year period.
Look, it's tough because Beltran said, I'm out. And look, if you want to go back through, and I've talked to like agents who were covering him at that time, Beltran did what a lot of players did at that time. It was prove that you're an everyday player by being good at everything, steal bases, do all this thing. And then when you're getting ready to free agency or getting ready to sign with another team, slug homers. And he just turned it on like it was a switch. Carlos Beltran was so talented. He's like, okay, I'll hit homers now. Time to get paid? I'll hit homers now. And spent an entire offseason training just to hit homers. Took his batting average down, took his on-base percentage up, and slugged homers in his final year in Kansas City. At 38 homers, I think, the final year he was a member of the Royals between that and the Astros when he got traded. When you genuinely look at it, he was, because I do remember Brett, but barely, right? I was 9 when George Brett retired. So I remember I was little enough that I I remember watching Brett play his final game, but he wasn't like this is my favorite player of all time. He was my older brother's favorite player of all time, and they remembered a superstar. Carlos Beltran, as you pointed out, he was the first time I remember one of the 15 best players in baseball were actually playing on the Royals.
And that outfield, it's funny, here we are, we're talking this year so much about how the outfield is a question mark. That outfield, when you had Damon, Dye, and Beltran, was unbelievable.
How the hell did they not win? Wow. They couldn't pitch
Yeah.
to save their lives. And so a simple answer is they couldn't pitch. And so when you look back through it and you try to understand kind of what happened there in the time, I think Royals fans wanted to hate him for a while because he said, I want out. And I'll be honest, it's a little bit like probably how Bengals fans feel about Carson Palmer or whatever. At the time, I was mad that Carlos Beltran forced his way out. But could I really, genuinely, could you really blame him? Could you? Could you genuinely hold Carlos Beltran responsible? He was on one of the worst run franchises in the sport at that time. They were awful. They didn't spend money. They were terrible at drafts. They couldn't develop anyone. The major league team had been miserable for 2 decades or 15 years. I don't blame him for wanting out. So, yeah, I do think you get to claim Carlos Beltran as a Royal. That's where he started his career.
Yeah, and I'm happy to
see. He turned into a superstar in his career here. He's Rookie of the Year. You got to take your credit for it.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see it. I think most Royals fans thought it was pretty cool last night to see that announcement. My issue is not with him. My issue is with the Baseball Hall of Fame, though. And this pick and choose which quote-unquote cheater do we like better than the others. So if we're a voter, I liked him better than this guy, and he was nice to me in the clubhouse, so I'm going to vote for him. That's basically what's happening here. Now, I understand Carlos Beltran was not on-field cheating. His was, of course,
coaching. He was helping other people cheat.
But it's quote-unquote cheating. So we pick and choose. We like David Ortiz. Fun guy, great personality. Well, we'll vote, make sure he gets in.
He technically was never popped, though. That's the other thing. Everybody thinks. But look, I'm not here to defend. I'm just saying he wasn't technically...
Right. A-Rod, Kurt Schilling, Clemens, they're jerks. They're jerks. We got no. But Barry Bonds cannot put him in. But David Ortiz, Carlos Beltran, and I can give you a few other names. Those were nice guys or whatever. Let's put them in. Put them all in, for crying out loud. Put them all in. I've said this for years. I think you and I have had this conversation like everybody for 20 years or whatever at this point. But put them in. I would have a special wing, tell the story of baseball. If you want to have a special wing, the steroid era, you can have it in block lettering right there, and you have those guys' plaques right there. Fine, if that's what we need to do. But this picking and choosing why he gets in, but he doesn't get in, it's just a popularity, and we liked him better, and he wasn't a jerk to us when we covered the league, which is what these voters are doing.
So some of it is absolutely that. I want to preface this by saying I've made this clear as well. I'm fine with putting everybody in. Because if you don't think that there was some, Vaselined up 1970s pitcher who was essentially cheating just in the way that they were letting them get away with at that time, then we're lying to ourselves. And there's a dead ball era and an era of baseball where segregation existed and all these guys just played against fellow white players. Look, in the history of baseball, it has been an unequal sport in some capacity. So I do think that they should just put in every single steroid era. If you were a Hall of Famer in the year in which you played, you deserve to be a Hall of Famer. I think it is unfair to categorize Carlos Beltran along with the steroid users in the sense that I don't think they're the same. And I think that helped him a little bit in the sense that Pete Rose bet on baseball, so let's put him just completely to the side. That's a completely different egregious act you just can't do, right? And so, like, that's its own separate version of cheating. Carlos Beltran somehow took the biggest arrows out of anyone, not the players who are winning a World Series or actively juicing their baseball stats by physically getting the advantage on the field. Not the manager, who's currently an MLB manager and got to get a job back right away. This man essentially got barred from baseball, ever coaching again. Nobody's even touched the guy since he was a part of the scandal. He cheated. The Astros, we should boo him and make fun of him. They were cheaters. Their World Series was because they cheated. They didn't take it away. They get to carry the trophy forever.
Yeah, flags fly
They
forever.
cheated. You get to ding him for that. But to me, it's not the same as A-Rod using steroids and slugging homers as he helped the Astros players bang on a trash can. I just don't think they're the same. But I would put all cheaters in.
But you just said it right there, and that's my issue. Is like you, and this is fine. I think a lot of people probably agree with you. You're saying that one thing is different than the other, and that's my issue.
Cheat as a player,
but that's fine. But that's my issue with it. Is like no matter what it is, you're still drawing a line that you believe in, which is fine. But you're saying, I think this is different. That's my issue with the voters. They're saying
they're choosing it. I'm saying I'd put them all in.
Yeah,
they're drawing a line.
Drawing the line is my problem with it. Is like, steroid era was a different thing than the trash can, stuff with the Astros and everybody involved there. But it still was a scandal. It still was cheating. And so we're like, well, that's a different form of cheating. And that's my issue with the whole thing. It's like, it's still cheating. So
your biggest argument
let's
is
put
Kurt
him
Schilling,
in, please.
Who was not. Kurt Schilling doesn't have any, right? He has never been found to use steroids. So he's the same as David Ortiz. Everyone was using steroids then, so he might as well have been too. I don't know. But he was never found to use steroids the same as David Ortiz in the sense that people presume or assume he probably did, but there was no evidence of him using, and whatever case they were looking into was closed. He legitimately is not in the Hall of Fame only because they think he's a jerk. Like, that's it. Yeah. They don't align with him. And so, Schilling is the one where you're like, you're holding this man hostage. It has nothing to do with, he wasn't caught cheating, the same as David Ortiz. He was existing in the steroid era. So I don't know what we're holding against it. Just put the best players in. I'm with you on that. I just thought, I thought it was a little bit of a redemption for look.
I'm glad he got it. That's my whole point. I'm glad he got it. It's just this picking and choosing stuff is crazy. I
just thought it was. Does anybody else think it's a little weird that Beltran wore it the worst for the Astros cheating scandal? How the hell is it not Springer and Altuve and Hinch?
Because the MLBPA protected those guys, and when they were negotiating punishment with the league, they protected their client. I guess is what you're saying. Whereas Beltran at that point didn't really have anybody going to bat for him. No pun intended. That was the issue.
It's always the same. And this goes back to the bigger problem, Baseball Hall of Fame. Right as it sits right now, the all-time home run hitter, the all-time hits leader, the all-time, I think, wins leader in or at least the modern, Roger Clemens got 3. Some of the all-time greats in your sport aren't in the Hall of Fame. It's weird.
Have you been to Cooperstown?
It's weird. I haven't.
I haven't either.
It's weird. Maybe we'll go for Beltran.
We can. Let's do it.
I think the next time we go is Salvi. We actually make it for
that's the Royals one.
Royal.
Yeah, that's the Royals. That is the one where you go.
Royal. That's the one that's worthy of going.
You and everybody else. I mean, that's the one. Yeah. That is the one.
I mean, the next chance we have is Bobby Witt. There's no other. Alex Gordon got 1 vote.
I have to ask. And look, I'm
assuming it's a local person who comes.
Yeah,
you want me to guess? Flanny votes for the Hall of Fame.
Look, it's amazing considering Alex Gordon's story and a kid from Nebraska and all that. It's a hell of a story.
Seeing how he wrote the story in his contract, I would bet almost $100,000 that it was Flanny who voted for him. And if he wants to give him a courtesy Hall of Fame vote, what do I care?
Yeah, look, so yes, the Alex Gordon, there's no reason to take any shots there. But what is he getting a vote for? And what you just said is he's getting a vote because of whatever. That's my point. You just said, he's getting a vote because he was, maybe you're speculating. Maybe because he was friends with a certain beat writer or whatever it may be from his time. That's my whole issue with the whole. What is that? The issue with the whole Baseball Hall of Fame is what you said. Oh, because I was friends with that guy or this guy was nice to me or whatever, I'm going to vote for him. That's the whole problem with the process for the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yes. Again, I would put them all in. I'd put the Black Sox scandal. They can all go in too. Welcome on in, Shoeless Joe. And he threw a game. Like, part of it's just like you got to put all cheaters in across the board. Rose was always the weird exception, and the Black Sox because of the gambling part. Nobody ever once you ruin the integrity of the sport. If you go back and you look at 90s era baseball, they were all using. Roger Clemens did not ruin the integrity of the sport. Every person on the planet in the sport at that time was juicing. They were doing it as a group. It was accepted practice. Hell, they didn't even kick out creatine for years. You used to just sit in a jar behind McGuire's locker. So let's not pretend.
Do you think, now that you were mentioning when we were talking about Cooperstown and going there and all that, the next couple, so you got Beltran going in this year, eventually Greinke, right?
Yeah.
That's a no-doubter. Greinke will get in.
He'll get in.
And then,
but again, he won't go as a Royal. I don't think he came back to the Royals.
I have no idea.
He's got a chance to go in as a Royal.
And then Salvi's the obvious one. And that might be, we've had this conversation on air before.
Yeah.
Just with the current setup in baseball right now, maybe it changes with the CBA. The likelihood of the Royals having many, lifers or guys that play for the organization for 10 plus years, those days might be numbered.
And that's just baseball across the board.
Yeah.
These guys are going to have to choose which team they just align with the most. And more often than not, it's probably going to be the team who gave him the biggest check. I will say, you mentioned Zach Greinke. After Carlos Beltran left the Royals, Greinke was the next time where I'm like, wow, the Royals have one of the best players in the entire sport. So at least we didn't have to wait forever because it was 2000. When did Greinke burst onto the scene? He got into the league about 2005 or 6. So a few years after Beltran was gone. But it was a few years after that, after he was thinking about quitting baseball and all that stuff, he got great. 2008, 2009 when he got great.
09 was when he won the Cy Young.
Yeah. I watched
2.16 ERA.
I went to watch him live 11 times that year.
Oh, we all remember the Sports Illustrated cover and all that.
I went to Minnesota for the final game
of
the year. I mean, it was just but this is why this is not the point of the conversation at the moment. This is why I think you should get out to the K and watch Bobby Wood Jr. when you get the chance. You just don't get a lot of chances to watch players that great.
Up next, let's get to the NFL. The chaos going on this morning in Buffalo a little bit. Also the other openings. What does Ross Tucker make of championship weekend? We haven't had time really yet to talk much about the Broncos and Patriots game, the Rams and the Seahawks. We'll do that with Ross coming up here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
We're going to try to tickle your tonsils.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day, during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts? Well, that means more ways to level up your playoff bets. You pick the matchups you believe in, take your shot on an upset, or build a parlay that fits the moment. Perhaps you think a game involving Stidham in May could be lower scoring. You could take a look at the under. Maybe you like some of the running backs to have over on their rushing props because of it. Those are just some of the options you have over at FanDuel. And then you can apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep on rolling. So just visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well,
I'll take this one.
what? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we are improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
This is the Game of the Week Report, brought to you by Hyundai.
Minnesota will host Golden State for a 2-game series this week. Historically, Golden State has owned the series, but recent trends have tilted toward Minnesota, especially when they're at home. This matchup is sure to be a compelling watch from tip-off to the final buzzer, featuring explosive scoring ability and star power from both teams.
The Game of the Week Report is brought to you by the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. Learn how it's so much more than just another SUV at HyundaiUSA.com.
What is it that makes the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid an incredible SUV? Is it the spacious interior that's comfy for the whole crew? Or the capability to go off-road? Maybe it's up to 600+ miles of range. What if it's all that and more? What is it then? The all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. Is it the driver behind the wheel? No. Are you sure? The all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. So much more than just another SUV. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
All right, we're just getting started here on a Wednesday on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Let's get back into the NFL here. Not only championship weekend, but the coaching carousel continues to get more and more interesting. You also have the Bills ownership today with this bizarre press conference. And as you said, Cody, throwing a former coach under the bus, throwing a current wide receiver under the bus a little bit.
Absolving his GM of all wrongdoing.
It's very interesting. We'll get to that press conference later on in the show, but we'll talk about it a little bit right here with Ross Tucker, of course, at Ross Tucker NFL, host of the Ross Tucker NFL podcast. He joins us thanks to futurefans.com, a great way to get your kids to love and understand football. And I must admit, Ross, this past week we got adults arguing about what a catch is or not, so it's very complicated to get everybody on the same page here.
It is funny. It feels like once a year, once every 2 years, we do have a lengthy debate about what a catch is or is not. I didn't really have much of a problem with the call.
Right.
And my big thing is hold on to the ball. Hold on to the ball. Don't let him rip it out of your hands. Just listen, you can even let him keep his hands on it. You just don't lose it because simultaneous possession, you get it. So, I don't know. I mean, I always think it's funny. In life, you can choose to spend an inordinate amount of time making excuses and blaming others, or you can just hold on to the ball. Write that down. That's a direct quote for all of you in your lives. You can either blame others, pass the buck, or just hold on to the ball.
It is very funny you say that because I'll be honest, this previous week, the entire Bills organization and fan base, other than Josh Allen, I'll give him a brief preview, is coming off as the biggest group of crybabies, not taking any accountability for any of their own problems, like every year. Every playoff run is somehow not their fault. We didn't get the ball in overtime. They called a pass interference that didn't exist. We didn't hold on to the football. Every year is some excuse. And I don't know, like their owner today, Ross, the way he was talking, I'm like, maybe this is top down. Because the way he was talking today and throwing Keon Coleman under the bus, I mean, it made it seem like a less attractive job to me today all of a sudden, even though it should be the most attractive job with Josh Allen.
Ooh, I hadn't thought about that part of it in terms of the press conference being less attractive as a result. But it's probably true that it didn't really help. You know, I mean, it is attractive because of Josh Allen, but the last guy won a playoff game every year, and that wasn't enough. And that's okay. I can live with that part of it. I can live with saying, hey, being good enough to not get to the Super Bowl isn't good enough. So I can live with that part of it. But, yeah, I don't know that the press conference today probably was enticing. And even think about that for a second. You know, what's Kevin Stefanski thinking? What's John Harbaugh thinking? You'd think if the Bills thought this was a distinct possibility, they would have made sure that the representation for those two guys had a pretty good idea that, hey, just hold off before signing on the dotted line anywhere else.
We're talking to Ross Tucker here on Cody and Gold. Who do you think is a good fit there? I know the reports are Dable's very, very interested. Josh Allen likes Brian Dable. Who do you actually think would be the best fit?
Well, that's a really good question because I'm not sure that there's somebody out there that really gets me all that excited. It doesn't feel to me like a job for someone that, you know, has never done it before. It feels to me like a job for someone that, you know, maybe getting a second try. It honestly feels to me like a job for John Harbaugh or Kevin Stefanski, but they already have been hired elsewhere. So it puts them in a really tough spot. I mean, I guess they can get a Dayball or they can get Jesse Minter or Grant Yadinsky or any of these other guys, Joe Brady. What's your level of confidence that those guys are better at all than what you had in McDermott? You know, that's part of firing a coach is having a pretty good feel that you'll actually be able to get a better one.
When you look at the rest of the league, and I know we'll get to this stuff in just a little bit, when you look at the rest of the league, do you think that there are teams, because if Darnold or May or some of these other guys, Stafford's already been there, jumped the line, it seems crazy to us that Darnold would have a Super Bowl or could have a Super Bowl before Allen, Lamar, Burrow. Like, there's got to be some part of that it feels like that's the impetus behind all these moves in the league.
Not even that he could have a Super Bowl. He could have gotten the one. You know, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson haven't even gotten to a Super Bowl, which is really just, I mean, it goes to show you how hard it is, and it's unbelievable accomplishment what the Chiefs have done during this run. And I know this year was a disappointment, but guys, I mean, I'm around the Philadelphia Eagles a lot, and I've seen, you know, the 2 years they went to the Super Bowl, the year after they didn't even win a playoff game, you know, and in 23 and this year. And I think it just goes to show how impressive it is what the Chiefs have been able to do during this run, and why I think Chiefs fans should have confidence and belief that it was just a down year and that they're going to bounce back.
What do you make of let's go to the AFC side first. Do you give Denver any chance with Jared Stidham to pull the upset on the Patriots? Their defense is obviously great, but that was one of the more surprising pieces of news I feel like we've gotten right after a playoff win in a long time, because you find out Bo Nix is done for the year, Stidham's going to start, and the initial impact is, well, they got no chance now. But defensively, do you give them some sort of hope?
I do. I do give them some hope. You know, it's interesting. You guys know I have a betting podcast. It's pretty popular. It's the Even Money Betting Podcast. And I always think it's fascinating. I'd love to hear what the number is for Mahomes, by the way. But, you know, my co-host is a sports bettor, sports handicapper, whatever. And he has Bo Nix as rated slightly better than an average quarterback. So what does that mean? It means Bo Nix is worth half a point. He has Jarrett Stidham as an average backup, which is 3.5 points worse than an average quarterback. So he's saying the difference between Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham on the betting line is essentially 4 points. He feels like the line has overreacted. I think that sounds about right to me. I think Stidham's pretty solid. My big takeaway has been, you know, whether he'll never say this publicly, but this really works in Sean Payton's favor from a coaching legacy standpoint. It's almost like he gets a free roll. If they lose, no one's going to blame Sean Payton. No one's going to be down on them. They're going to say, well, he got to the conference championship game with Bo Nix, who's really just okay, and he lost, and Bo Nix got hurt. So what do you expect? But if he wins, if they somehow fit him in the Broncos, somehow win and get to the Super Bowl, then that greatly adds to Sean Payton's coaching legacy. So, you know, he on some level, this works out perfectly for Payton in terms of the court of public opinion.
Totally with you. Yeah, I'm 100% with you on what it could do for Sean Payton. And also, in a weird way, do you think it could impact Bo Nix? Like, let's say Jarrett Stidham were to win the next 2 games and win a Super Bowl, and that offense looks either the same or whatever. Does that hurt Bo Nix at all?
Probably a little bit. Now, he would still be the starter next year, and it'd still only be his 3rd year. But I think that would be in the back of people's minds if he played poorly or at the end of the year, you know, when it comes contract extension time. You know, I think there's probably some Eagles fans that wish the Eagles would have stuck with Nick Foles rather than Carson Wentz, you know, because of what Nick Foles had been able to do for them. So Wentz was the more talented guy. Wentz was the highly drafted guy. So I understand why they did what they did. But, yeah, I mean, if Stidham wins the Super Bowl, I don't think he's going to overtake Bo Nix for the starting job.
Sure.
But I think it definitely will create some intrigue going into next year.
I'm curious as a football player. We understand he will physically get a ring. We were in a debate the other day, which is if Stidham goes and wins the Super Bowl, do you get to say, if you're a Broncos fan, Patrick Mahomes has 3 rings, Bo Nix has 1? Or does Bo Nix get 0 rings for that? In the debate, not in the physical. I understand physically he gets the ring.
Yeah. I don't think he gets it.
I'm with you.
No, you don't put. You got to start in the Super Bowl for people to say you have a ring, because people don't, like in Philly, they don't really give that ring to Carson Wentz. They give that ring to Nick Foles.
Yeah, I think rightfully so, because that was like a week 11 or 12. I feel like this is officially the line for me, Ross, where I think about it, where it's like if they got hurt at the end of the AFC Championship game and they won the Super Bowl, I am to kind of assume they would have won the Super Bowl with their starting quarterback versus their backup. I might give it to him.
He's got to throw a pass in the Super Bowl. He's got to throw a pass. He didn't throw a pass.
I think they need to get to the Super Bowl. I think if Stidham wins 2, I don't think you can give that to Bo. That's the 2 most important wins of the season that he didn't accomplish.
Yeah.
Right,
we got Ross Tucker hanging out with us, of course, host of the Ross Tucker NFL podcast. Check him out on social if you don't already, at Ross Tucker NFL. On the NFC side, I mean, this Seattle team I feel like has been questioned, doubted all season long, and they just demolished the 49ers, who were so banged up, and now they get to host a Rams team. And I think a lot of people had viewed the Rams as maybe the only team that could go into Seattle and win this weekend. How likely do you think it is that Sean McVay and the Rams can get it done this weekend?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think they're probably the 2 best teams in the NFL, the 2 best teams left. I'll be on the sideline for that one, looking forward to it. Can't remember the last time I was in Seattle. You know, but it feels like, and this happens, it feels like they're kind of 2 teams a little bit going in different directions. And it started really with the fourth quarter of their Week 16 matchup. that happens, and the Rams, they just haven't played as well. Especially on defense, they have not played as well. Meanwhile, the Seahawks have really just gotten better. And to beat the Niners twice, back-to-back games for them, by the way, and you hold them to 9 points, it's extremely, extremely impressive. And so I think the Seahawks are the best team. I think the Seahawks will win. I think the chance for the Rams, other than turnovers and blah, 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 but the chance is that Stafford plays like an MVP and Darnold plays below average. It really feels like that's what's going to have to happen. And interestingly, since I'm calling the game, I went back and watched that Week 16 matchup this morning, and Stafford played at a really high level. The Rams had over 500 yards of offense. Pook had over 200 yards receiving. Darnold had 2 bad picks, and the Seahawks still won. They still came back to win. Now, they got some good fortune, and Shaheed had a punt return touchdown, and blah, blah, blah. But it does feel like the Seahawks are better, and the Rams need a Herculean effort from Stafford.
You were on the call, I think, in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, on Westwood One this past weekend, and I know they lost the game, but out of the teams that lost, is there anybody that's feeling, I guess, better about the future than Bears fans after what Caleb Williams, while yes, he makes the crucial pick late, that throw he made, though, to basically send it to overtime was one of the most ridiculous throws we've seen.
Yeah, that was insanity, and that was such a privilege to be there and witness that. I mean, I still can't believe it. When he was sprinting backwards, like 15 yards, and I was thinking, like, you're going the wrong way. And, I mean, it almost felt like at that point it had to be like a Hail Mary. He threw it 51 yards in the air. It was an incredible play, and there's no question out of the divisional round losers, I think the team that feels the best is the Bears because it was already further than they thought they would get, number one. Number two, they beat the Packers. They came back and beat the Packers, their hated rival the week before. So it's almost like what I said about Peyton. The divisional round was almost a free roll, and with the throws that Caleb Williams made in those back-to-back games, you're feeling really good about the future if you're a Bears fan.
Over on the AFC West side, what do you make of Mike McDaniel potentially being the OC there for the Chargers? Reports are obviously still in the running for some head coaching jobs, but that if that doesn't land up, he's coming to L.A.
Well, makes sense. His wife's from California. Southern California is a pretty nice place to live, and you get a chance to work with Justin Herbert. And honestly, the expectations are fairly low there in the sense that Herbert's never won a playoff game. So if you can win one playoff game and help the team win one playoff game, it's like you'll be considered the savior. And by the way, they had no offensive line. You're going to get both your offensive tackles back. It really puts McDaniel in a position to pretty easily surpass what they were able to do with Greg Roman this past year.
Ross Tucker, safe travels out west. As you said, I think you're going to Seattle. And then tell us once again, if people are listening, they've got kids that they're trying to get into watching football with them a little bit more.
Well, that was last week. We're moving on, Alex. Today, it's about you guys, your significant others, and it is about Valentine's Day, which is basically the Super Bowl of your relationship, the Super Bowl of love. It's called myfrontpagestory.com. Buddy of mine started the business. It's by far the best Valentine's Day gift I've ever seen. You literally talk to a professional writer for 10 minutes, or you can fill out an email if you want. They write this incredible story about your significant other, how amazing she is. It's framed, looks like it's on the cover like the Kansas City Star. It's beautiful. To be able to get, like, I've seen this, when she's opening it and she won't really know what it is, just say, honey, I wanted something special for you, so I had a story written about you. Like, how crazy does that sound? And then when she's reading your quotes, like, I never thank her enough for all the little things she does for me and my family, she will cry. You will win. myfrontpagestory.com, myfrontpagestory.com. Do it, Cody.
Going to be even important next year when the Super Bowl's on Valentine's Day.
Ooh. Yeah, but I want everybody to get it now. So do it now, and then for next year, do it for somebody else. MyFrontPageStory.com.
Awesome. There you go. Thank you, Ross.
See you guys.
That's Ross Tucker. Drew and Cody, there you go. There you go. Your wife, would she love that? Nice quotes from both of you guys' wives. Just love that. Drew's saying and Cody are saying just how much they appreciate everything they do around for their family and everything. You can say how much you help the kids out, and I know how, sometimes I'm away for work, and you could just have a great story,
I hadn't thought about it, I guess. I'm open to it. I'm not saying no. I got to figure out, I don't know, man. Valentine's Day is such a hit or miss one for us. Is that a common one for you, Drew? Is that an every holiday one for you?
I mean, we obviously celebrate it, and there's like we take time, but yeah, I don't. I mean, it's a holiday. You obviously take some more time to celebrate.
No, but like I'm saying, what I'm saying is we don't always celebrate it. Like,
no,
it's a hit or miss.
We always celebrate Valentine's Day.
It's a hit or miss one in the tap house.
Yeah, we always celebrate to some degree, whether it's just a simple dinner, whatever the case is. There is a celebration of sorts. I don't know if you were there, Gold, but I was telling Cody before. I saw somebody posted this yesterday. Was men are going to have an interesting dynamic when the Super Bowl comes next year, and it is on Valentine's Day.
He pointed it out.
You're going to have to make some.
February 14th
You're going to have to.
I think you go and celebrate the night before. You do something still the day of, but like as far as the day, if you're someone that would normally go out for dinner, my guess is you do that the night before, and that's how you would do it. Because you probably on a Sunday night, I don't know how often people would just be with kids and everything would be able to go out to dinner anyway. So maybe you do that Saturday, and then you still have something flowers in the morning for on Valentine's Day, but then you watch the Super Bowl.
I will say this: I do think
because you're useless after 5 o'clock.
Cody, if you're going to take the advice, I would say this. Don't say, hey, the Super Bowl's on Sunday. Let's do something Saturday night for Valentine's Day. Don't phrase it that way for any of you guys out. Don't do it that way.
Most people would eat on a Saturday anyway. Just make the plans for Saturday. You don't have to be like, this is an avoidance of the Super Bowl.
Yes,
just make dinner plans for Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah, I don't think that would go too well. You're saying the Super Bowl is more important than that would cause an interesting dynamic. For next year.
I don't think you want that kind of trouble.
No, I don't think you do either.
Coming up in 10 minutes, though, we'll get to some of the comments from Robert Kraft, owner of the Patriots, about what we should expect to be a big push this offseason and moving forward in the NFL. And it impacts fans, and it certainly impacts the Kansas City Chiefs and those involved in the organization. That's coming up in just a little bit. Last night, though, I don't know if you stayed up for the last game of the locals. All three locals were on late. You had Missouri taking on Georgia late last night. In Columbia, they come up just short against top 25 team in Georgia. Kansas State got their first Big 12 win of the season. Boy, oh boy, did they need it. They get it at home against Utah. They hang on late against the Utes there. I believe they're now 10-9 on the season for Jerome Tang and company. Kansas, the game didn't start till 10:10 out in Colorado. Remember, Jock Vaughn
How long did you make it?
I watched the first half. That was it.
Okay, fair enough.
First half. I don't need to stay up for it's a January game. I don't need to.
Darren Peterson had a little injury and came back. Jacques Vaughn got him a win on the road. Covered the spread.
They did cover against Colorado. Colorado team is actually fun to watch. I think the part that I took, other than just the win and the performance, was the update we got right before the game as it pertains to Bill Self and his health. That he was at home, which is a great sign because if he was still in the hospital, that would tell us that there was something far more serious, perhaps, and that the expectation is that he will be back at their next practice. So if the timeline continues,
then it was just a minor thing.
As of right now, it sounds like they expect him to coach on Saturday in Manhattan against Kansas State.
I guess I would say, and this is still the thing with Self, because of his age, because of the way he's always talked about his career, he doesn't want to coach into his 80s or whatever. Any even minor health scare immediately makes me wonder who the next head coach of Kansas basketball is. Right? Is it Nate Oates? Is it Jacques Vaughn? And look, they've never really done coach in waiting at Kansas, and I'm sure Goff would like the opportunity to make, well, no big deal, just the single biggest hire essentially anybody can make in college basketball. If you're hiring for Duke or North Carolina or Kansas or some of the very few schools in which this would pertain to, it's a massive hire, huge hire for so many different ways. So one game of Jacques Vaughn's not going to move the needle in the decision making, but we kind of thought maybe they were bringing him on as a possible replacement anyway.
I mean, because this is something
that former NBA head coach,
I mean, but we also, Duke did the same thing with John Shire, and Wisconsin did the same thing with Greg Gard, and Virginia did the same thing with who they got coaching now, and Tony Bennett leaving early. And Syracuse might even, to an extent, have been the same way. And Bruce Pearl's kid, I think this is a common thing that we see. So I wouldn't be surprised if it actually is just Jacques Vaughn after this is all said and done, and he's the guy, even though it is Kansas.
Yeah, I think you're correct. It's the trend. If, in fact, whatever that day comes that Bill Self decides to hang it up, I think he clearly would be the automatic front runner. I just think to me, I want them to still have a real search. That's all. That's all I would say.
You open it up
but there's no
nationally to
doubt,
everybody.
if there were betting odds, whether it's a year from now, whether it's 3 years from now, whatever the timeline is for Bill Self eventually to hang it up, and hopefully on his own terms, whenever that happens. Yeah, I mean, Jacques Vaughn will be the heavy favorite.
There is also a caveat, too, when you look at some of those. Tony Bennett was right before the season. Bruce Pearl right before the season. Bo Ryan retired in the middle of the season, so Greg Gard could get a shot.
I don't think Self would do that.
I think that's
and in Virginia,
part of the dynamic to know as well.
You're right. Tony Bennett,
that was right before
in August or whatever, he decided, you know what? 2 months before the season, I'm out. Yeah, they will have a much better plan. They will have a much better plan if, in fact, that day is coming soon. I don't know if that's after this year. I think we all recognize it's sooner rather than later, though. I mean, we're on the clearly not just the back half. I was like the last quarter mile or so of the career here.
So like Missouri, tough loss. They had the lead with 9 seconds to go. A ranked opponent at home. They're back to being a bubble team, and that's unfortunate for them because it seemed like they had slid off of that for a brief moment and felt like they were tracking back towards that. Is it weird to be bothered that Jerome Tang was celebrating like he had gotten to the Elite Eight after that conference win?
It does come off a certain type of way, I suppose.
Did you see him doing like the normal like dancing with the fans at the end of the game?
Yeah, the Wabash.
I guess that is part of it. I guess that is part of the job, and that's part of like keeping your fan base interested. It would be like, I don't know, but here's the thing: if I finally won a hot dog race, I guess I would. I was about to say it'd be like me celebrating.
You would.
What would you
But at least then I'd still be a winner.
You would like run around the field or whatever with your arms
raised high. They'd have to kick me off the field, man. That'd be it for me. Are you kidding?
Hey, by the way, this Valentine's Day stuff, I texted our guy, Jay Binkley. He said, I saw that it makes the day good. A crappy day just got better because football's on.
Binkley hates Valentine's Day, though.
Well, I know. That's why I wanted to text him if he knew.
I think as far as the Jerome Tang thing, like that's what he does after wins. He's done it since he started. I agree with you that it hits a lot better in year one when you're winning than it does when you're getting your first conference win on January 20th and you're 9 at that time 9-10. Now you're 10 and
9 over 500.
You were 9-9. Now you're 10-9. Does it ultimately matter? No, but I get why you're like, okay, it's the same thing with any of this stuff. You mentioned it when we were discussing, how certain coaches are more of a hard ass than others. It works when you're winning. When you're not winning, some things seem out of place, and I guess that would be the answer. But as the text line says, Cody, don't worry. You won't have to worry about winning a hot dog derby race anyway.
Screw you guys. Okay. Someone says I'll have a parade if you win the hot dog derby. Wait, come on.
Parade down your street in front of your house or something like that?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, if I win a hot dog derby this year, will you guys attend a parade on my street?
I don't know if I can promise that, but I think it would be fun to attend.
I want your guaranteed attendance
I can't
for my
guarantee
hot dog derby parade day.
You're the Buffalo Bills, man. You can't win.
It could just be down here
You're
on
the
Squib.
Bills. You can't win.
How about that? It could be down here on Squib.
It's gotten really sad. And,
it is like Josh. I
can
smell it. I can hear the crowds cheering. Isn't that what he said? I could see him coming down Main Street.
Preseason
You're
or whatever.
You're going to get some brand new shoes right before you run.
Right down here on Squib. I'm going to get a hot dog scepter made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I pulled a Peyton Manning. I won and I retired immediately from hot dog derby racing. I don't need to do it again.
Smart.
Up next, let's talk about what Robert Kraft had to say and where the NFL is trending. And you asked Ross Tucker about Mike McDaniel. Let's get into the reports that he could be the OC, what that means for the AFC West next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Coming up a week from today, Cody and I are going to be out at Centric. Why? Well, not only do we want to hang out with Russ Mondry, who's going to be hanging out with us, by the way, this Friday for a little fan club. They have a KC Tech Career Summit going on from 4 to 7 o'clock. It's your chance to figure out exactly what you might be looking for in your future and exactly how the program works and hear from people that have been through the program.
Yeah, Ginny Matthews from The Wolf is going to be with us too, and like just give you a sense of, because they have the panel, you can hear from people who went there. They're going to have a raffle benefiting Wayside Waif as well and some nice things, but an idea to see the building, see the program, talk to people who went through the program, and ask any questions you want to ask. We'll be there starting at 4 o'clock. The event will go till 7. You can get a sense of what it's like to be there. But again, IT, it's the beginning. It's a great career, and it's a new year, which means classes are going on right now. You have a chance to enter classes here soon, and a chance to get that career in 4 months, before the draft even.
You can RSVP in advance. Go to Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com. Click on the KC Tech Summit. It's right there at the top of the page, and we hope to see you there next Wednesday.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game.
Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug!
Oh yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down.
Hey!
Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you inside the app. More boosts means more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in, take a shot on the upset, or build a parlay that fits the moment. It's championship weekend. It's January. The weather is cold. I expect low-scoring games, which means keep your eye on the unders. Then apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Escape to your new coastal seafood paradise. Introducing Aqua Pennies, where the freshest seafood, a full-service raw bar, prime steaks and chops, exquisite handcrafted cocktails, and a one-of-a-kind atmosphere come together in perfect harmony. Aqua Pennies is now open in Park Place, Leawood. Don't miss out. Experience something truly different. Tantalize your taste buds and elevate your evening out. To learn more, go to aquapennies.com.
Coast into Aqua Pennies, now open for lunch.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash
cash back. If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus comes out swinging. Highlight machine Justin Gaethje collides with Paddy the Baddy Pimblett in a must-see high-octane main event. Plus, Sean Sugar O'Malley faces off against Song Yadong in a stand-up war filled with high-level striking. Pay-per-view just got knocked out. Stream UFC 324 live on January 24th, only on Paramount Plus. Visit ParamountPlus.com/UFC to get started.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
When's the last time you watched Shrek, Drew?
It's been a very, very long time.
Yeah, I don't.
They're making a fifth one, aren't they? I think
A fifth?
or whatever. Whatever the next one
I
is.
knew there was Shrek and Shrek 2. This song obviously was in the original Shrek.
I've only seen the first two, but I think they're making
Okay.
I think it's Shrek 5. Yeah, when Zendaya is the kid.
Okay.
They have kids now and everything like that. And I
That's
guess maybe
crazy.
Michael Myers and
Okay.
there really are 3
and,
Shreks. This is the 4th.
Cameron Diaz
105.
are doing the voiceovers and everything like that.
All right. You played it obviously because we were discussing on next year. The Super Bowl is
Yeah.
on Valentine's Day, and you said Bink was texting you already saying it's the
He
worst
said
day
it's
of the
literally
year.
the worst day on the calendar, is what he said.
I'm not surprised that he
You
would
must
say
have had
that.
a couple of run-ins on Valentine's Day.
I'll just say the Valentine's Day on the Super Bowl next year. It's a Sunday, so Sunday night. If you already have kids, I don't know what you were really going and doing on a Sunday night anyway. So my guess is you just back it up. Friday and Saturday, you do your Valentine's Day thing. And then on Valentine's Day, I think you still need to make sure you get her flowers or something. But I don't know if your dinner plans, were you going to really go out to dinner on Sunday night at 7 o'clock anyway?
No, pretty unlikely.
Probably not. So actually,
Personally, no.
everybody's going to be different on that. But I actually think you can navigate this pretty easily.
You think this is a
Make sure you do something Friday or Saturday night. And then get her something the day of, so it shows that you still are acknowledging that today is actually Valentine's Day. But I don't think you have to not watch the Super Bowl. Also, your wife would watch the Super Bowl with you anyway. So.
Yeah, my wife watches. My wife is a casual sports viewer, as I've said. She will certainly watch them and understands the games and all the other stuff. It's just not something she turns on in her free time when I'm not around. Which is fine. That's a perfect balance, honestly.
We'll get to the trash of the day in 15 minutes or so, but I want to talk about what Robert Kraft, Patriots owner, had to say over on 98.5 The Sports Hub. And some of this is stuff that we've all speculated about, but when you hear it from an owner directly, it certainly carries a ton of weight. Here's what he had to say about a few of the priorities for the NFL owners this year and moving forward.
I want to tell you guys, though, we're going to push like the Dickens now to make international more important with us. Every team will go to 18-2, and eliminate one of the preseason games. And every team every year will play one game overseas. And part of the reason is so we can continue to grow the cap and keep our labor happy, because we're sort of getting near the top here, with the coverage. 93 of the top 100 programs on television are NFL games.
Right.
Think about that. It's it's really amazing. And you look at the size of our crowds versus the other sports, and it's really, and we had that Amazon game on Thursday a couple of weeks ago. 31 million people streamed. And so as long as we can keep growing revenue, we can keep long-term labor peace.
So that was Robert Kraft. Sound like in studio. How about that? In studio on 98.5 The Sports
Come
Hub.
on in, Clark.
In Foxborough or in Boston. The 18 game and 2 preseason and then the international game. These are things we've heard, but you heard him. So basically, like, they're going for it. This is going to happen at some point, and they believe their argument and why ultimately it'll get agreed upon is that, like, hey, you want the cap to still go up?
You want to make more money?
But it's the the health and safety part of it, the wear and tear part of it. We just saw, we've seen it every year now, but it seems like it increases. These devastating ACL injuries late in the year and the wear and tear on these bodies, and now you're going to add 2 more games to it. I get what he's saying, which is ultimately for the cap to keep going up, you have to find new revenue streams, and international continues to be where that's at.
I got to say, taking away a preseason game is meaningless to me if I'm a player. Yeah. You took away a game I wasn't playing in and forced me to play in a game I do. And I told you, up until Sunday Night Football on Week 18 this year, that Week 18 slate was useless, meaningless, worthless, terrible. I mean, genuinely awful and pointless is what it was. Now, again, I get it. Sunday Night Football, we got the juice. But it's like, if you'd pushed that a week earlier, I probably still have gotten the same result.
The international part is the most interesting. It's one thing.
Players don't care about that. They don't want to go overseas. No, you're going to have to wave a big bag of money in front of them for this to make sense for them, or offer them something else.
Well, it is going to be more money, but we've seen the NFLPA has, I think, lost year over year on the CBA negotiations. Yes, the money has increased, no doubt. But as we know, the top end guys are always going to be taken care of. It's the guys that are towards the bottom of the pay scale. Are they really making much more necessarily? And they'll concede many years ago. Oh, all right, we'll actually stop punishing you for smoking weed in exchange for an extra game, which was a terrible trade-off.
Punish them anyway.
It was a terrible trade-off. But remember that was a thing. It sounds silly now, but that was a thing at the time. It was such a big deal. It was way more taboo than what it is now. And so I think the international part, though, is where the NFL will have to get creative with the schedule, because if they're going to go to 20 games and 2 international, well, then you will have to do the double bye. So does the season start a week early? Is this
take it to President's Day.
Is this where it goes a week later, and all of a sudden that Monday, a lot of people are off?
Have you guys seen when the college football final is going to be the next 3 years?
25th or 27th of January next year.
So just so you know, mid-February, with Monday President's Day being the day after the Super Bowl, feels like it's around the corner. Sorry, I was laughing at the text line. He's like, why does it sound like he's being interviewed on hospice?
He spoke very slowly and calmly.
One of the preseason games, every team every year will play one game overseas.
Look,
part of the reason...
I don't think he should be dictating this. I honestly don't think he should be saying it as boldly as he does in this interview. I don't actually think that serves the actual negotiation.
You don't think that they're going to push
like the Dickens?
We're going to push like the Dickens.
I don't even think that's a phrase.
I think it is. You've heard that.
I never heard my grandfather say that once in my life, so I don't know.
Push like the Dickens, maybe I've heard, but I've never pushed like. I don't think that that's a thing. When you search it, the only thing that comes up is, I think I've heard hurts like the Dickens. I don't think I've ever heard push like the Dickens. I don't think it's the same thing.
I've heard what the Dickens.
Yeah,
as well.
I think he's just using Dickens wrong.
Oh my God!
I love how we're now having this discussion. Didn't people use Dickens to replace the word devil?
Yeah, I think
so. We're going to push like the devil is essentially what he's saying. We're going to push like the Dickens.
He was around so long ago. He remembers people saying it's lit gas lanterns on the street. Anyway, so Robert Kraft and the push for 18 games. Here, you know what the truth is? I love the NFL and I love football. I don't need 18 games. If you're just asking me, hey, Cody, do you want 18 games? No, I'm good. Because I already think we're pushing the physical limits of what these players are capable of. I don't want to see more injuries. I don't want to see them drive out. If you're a player and by the way, shortening everyone's career. So I don't even get to see I don't even get to see Travis Kelce get to 38 if he's got to play 22 additional games on the way to getting there. I'm just losing years of these players' careers. I got to turn the thing around more. Are you increasing the roster sizes? Are more guys getting paid? Not just the addition of this. it comes with some serious stuff.
The roster size
I'm just not
increase
interested.
should be part of this, hopefully. The international thing, as a fan, and I think we all kind of get annoyed with these games that go internationally, their argument would be, well, you're not losing any of your home games because we're going to add more games, so you'll still get your normal 8 home games a year kind of thing or whatever.
8 or 9.
Or
actually,
9.
in that case, it'd be both.
Yeah, and so, look, there's in all likelihood the Chiefs, we know that the Chiefs just played in Brazil, and most people think they'll be playing next year overseas. We don't know where. People have speculated that Rams-Chiefs game could be in Australia next year. Some have speculated the Chiefs are going to be playing in Ireland next year. So this is just going to be something, fast forward 5 years from now, that we're all probably just used to, which is like, oh, yeah, of course they're playing an international game.
What's their international game this year? And look, I imagine fans will like it because they can, if they were thinking they wanted to go internationally. Gold, if you know the Chiefs are going international every year, you can save up and plan your trip.
You know what
I'm saying is I don't need 18 games.
Yeah.
It's too many games. I know it sounds crazy because it is a thing we all love to watch and enjoy, and it's America's favorite sport and all this other stuff. The more you push these games, the worse the product gets.
I agree.
Same as I don't need more teams either because I already got terrible quarterback play.
And they're pushing the limit. And the question is, when does it impact the product enough where people tune out? And that's the thing. They're greedy, no doubt. But when does it? We thought going from 16 to 17 games, 17 to 18, 17, 18 games at one point, and then 18 to 20 or whatever. When does it reach a limit to where you think the casual fan and the product suffers enough to where they won't do it? Because they're not going to stop. They got to be careful, though, that I would argue they're already at the limit, but 20 is 20 the magic number?
Maybe.
Are they going to eventually try to get to 22 games? Like when did they stop? I think the reason why they want 20 clearly is the international thing. They know in order to have every team playing international games a year or 2 international games a year, they have to get to 20 games, 21 weeks or 22 weeks. That way they can do the double buys and work on the travel part of it.
It's like this pursuit of just making their asset worth more and more or something. Like, well, they got to keep pushing up the cap. They make enough money. The cap will keep going up because of TV. You want to increase your revenue because you want this team worth more, and that's fine, but like, I don't feel they need to do that at the sacrifice of everyone. And I see Tom over on Twitter, and other people brought this up too, which is, what if you set a cap for the number of games players can play? Quarterback obviously being the exemption, and every time I've seen this rule brought up, where it's like, okay, it's 18 games, but every player can only play 16, except for the quarterback who can play 18, and then you got to strategically choose when you are going to give those 2 weeks off. And then for those playoff teams, it would suck. You're a fringe playoff team. You play them 16 straight weeks. You're 1 game out of the playoffs, and for the final 2 weeks, Travis doesn't get to play.
Yeah, I just don't think that works. I don't think that works.
As part of a negotiation tactic, the issue is I'm not sure the players would want that. They're not going to want you randomly choosing the 2 games you get off in the paycheck. I just think they're naturally going to miss more games due to the injury part of it anyway. And so, like, I don't know, man. It's really tough when you talk about, like, which way to do it. I just don't want it. I imagine it will go that way. Yeah. I don't want it.
I mean, you heard them.
For the first time ever, I don't want it.
This is going to happen. The question is, how much is the NFLPA willing to fight? And what are they actually getting out of it? Because when you hear that for Robert Kraft, who's one of the more influential owners in the league, that's going to happen. Like we all know that we are going to eventually get to what he is saying. And I don't remember, when's the NFL CBA up? Do you know? Or are they going to try to get it done
next
before?
Year before? As you look that up, it's like the other part about this, and no other
end of the 2030 season. Okay. They're going to try to get this done way before then, though.
Yep. This is the other part. It's like, I understand that they have got way more inventory. All these other leagues, we're not talking about adding games to the base. I don't want more baseball, more NBA, more NHL. We're good. Like the NFL, because it's once a week, it's like 18 games. It's taking up the same amount of time as these other leagues. You can't physically play that much football. And more, it's so weird because it just feels like a massive, how long is everybody's NFL career going to be? NAL is going to keep them in college till they're 24 years old. They're going to get to the NFL, have to play 18 games a season. Is anyone going to make it to 30? Or is every NFL player and every NFL, I understand, but is 90% of every NFL roster going to be age 25 to 30? And then after 30, except for quarterbacks, we'll be like, well, that was fun. And like the turnover,
we're in the middle of we're in the middle of a big shift in football in the United States. We are. I mean, you kind of mentioned it right there, Cody. We're in a shift. I mean, the college football is semi-pro more than ever. It is true. Like people have been talking about trying to have minor league football and all that. We have that definitively now in college football with what the kind of money is being spent. To your point, the age kind of range is closer or lasting longer, I should say, in college football. And so, I think we're in a shift where it is absolutely shifting to this kind of new model, and it impacts the NFL as well. And it'll end up being something that we get accustomed to, but it is definitely changing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. It's just a weird dynamic. And yeah, it just feels like a big push, even though in my opinion, I guess not totally necessary. Meanwhile, last night I saw that Mike McDaniel's head of the Chargers, and I was obviously annoyed because I wanted Mike McDaniel here. But I think on this show, we both said, why wouldn't he just go take the Ravens OC job or the Chargers OC job or one of these jobs where he can get a great quarterback or get a really good quarterback, but also call plays. This is the part where Chiefs fans, at least on social media, and I'm curious on the text line, 913-586-7965, where I think you're blinded by your own success. I am not saying the Chiefs have to be fearful of the Chargers, but I also think you are lying to yourself if you say this is not good for them. They're already tough and have organization and have figured out how to at least play competent football. Harbaugh brought them that. The thing they have been missing is dynamic, consistent offensive play, and they just got the best offensive coordinator on the market. I think that's bad for the Chiefs. Do I think Mike McDaniel's going to be there as their awesome OC for the next 5 years? No.
That's the only part
but
where
it is bad for the Chiefs.
That's the only part where you can pump the brakes on the freak out, because
I'm not going to lose my mind.
If Mike McDaniel ends up being the OC and it goes well,
he's gone.
For Herbert and he starts winning playoff games, he's going to be a head coach in a year or so. Maybe even right away after 1 year. I mean, truly.
Pretty good chance.
So
yeah.
that it's a problem for 1 year maybe. I don't think this is like some long-standing problem. I also think, I agree, Mike McDaniel, because we've talked about him as in relation to Kansas City at one point.
Yeah.
I do think he's a brilliant offensive mind. I do think a little bit of the conversation around him has jumped the shark a little bit. Like, now we're acting like he's the brightest offensive mind we have seen in the NFL ever. Like, I think he is a very good coordinator, and I think for Justin Herbert, this would be amazing for his career, and Chargers fans should be thrilled. I also think now, because of like what happened in Miami and post-firing and like the hirings that are happening, now a little bit of the narrative around McDaniel is asking like he's the QB whisperer, which and that he's just, the best OC we've seen in 30 years, and it's got a little too much love for Mike McDaniel in my opinion.
That's probably fair, but also because this appears to be a near perfect fit with Amari and Hampton and all the stuff they have going there and Herbert and everything else. This is, hey, I'll just tell you right now, I don't care if you lose both tackles again. I don't care if Ladd McConkey goes down with an injury. I don't care if you lose half your defense. This is an excuse-free year for Justin Herbert. No more placating. No more defending. No more saying this is why things went wrong. It's not Justin Herbert's fault. They're giving him everything. They got him the new head coach who knows what he's doing. They got him the new former head coach who's now his new offensive coordinator. His tackles should be back. Excuse for a year. Herbert needs to jump himself into the echelon of the other top quarterbacks in the league, or he no longer belongs in this conversation anymore. And he's just like everyone else, like Dak. He's Dak Prescott, and you can be in the conversation from 8 to 13, and I won't worry about you day to day, because like the playoffs and it's no more excuses for Herbert with McDaniel there. I don't like it because I want a McDaniel here, obviously.
Trash of the day.
All right, this one ties itself back to the national title game, which I understand was a couple nights ago, but Drew brought this to my attention, that there was a man in Miami that had his own food truck. Okay, cool. We love food trucks.
We talked about C&G Pizza being a food truck.
Food trucks are great.
When we realized we couldn't get Guy's Pizza inside of Kelly's.
This guy was so confident in the Miami Hurricanes to win on Monday, which of course they did not. He sold his food truck for $30,000. He took the $30,000. This is according to multiple reports now, so it's not. I don't think this is a fake story. He bet $30,000 to win the national title for a $150,000 payout. He lost the bet, obviously, and now he doesn't have the food truck. Now, maybe this guy's well off anyway. I don't know. And maybe he wanted a new food truck anyway, and this was just his way to get a headline. So he was going to bet on Miami anyway, and so I can sell the truck and get a headline. Maybe that's what happened. Otherwise, this dude just gave up his income and potential earned income for a bet that ended up losing.
Also, calling it the easiest bet of the century.
Yeah.
When a team is 7.5, 8.5 point dogs?
Yeah, they ended up being 7.5 by kickoff.
Okay, 7.5 point dogs. It can't be the bet of the century if someone's a touchdown dog in a game. Yeah. That's coming with a little too great a risk. Vegas is pretty smart. No, he didn't pick, because if he'd bet him to cover,
he would have won.
We'd be talking about a man who won $30,000. Indiana only won by 6.
Yeah.
We'd be having a different conversation. He bet them to win.
Yeah.
To win. How sick was he when Carson Beck threw that pick?
I wish we had a live camera on him.
$30,000? Don't sell your possessions in order to wager, okay? That ain't worth it. I'm not going to go sell my car this afternoon and put it on somebody to cover tonight.
You probably shouldn't do that. Yeah.
No. I'd like to get to work still.
1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah. Gamble responsibly. Look, I feel bad for the guy. What kind of food truck was it? Did it say?
It's a good question. I'm trying to find out more details on...
I couldn't tell based on the picture that,
same.
I saw the...
I do not know what the food truck... It looks like... It's cut off, yeah.
I'm not able to tell.
Habibi? I don't even know what that is.
Maybe it's like Euros or something?
That's always a safe bet. Looks like
I love a
it
good
looks like
gyro.
the photo on the truck is like looks like
Matter of
fried
fact, this-
poppers or whatever. What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think that is?
Yeah, some sort of like dumpling or fried. Obviously, the language is like, it looks like it's written in a different script, so I can't quite tell. I'm going to guess like falafel or Euro or something. Like, is my guess. Anybody know? a good
Like
place to-
Mediterranean type
Yeah,
of
yeah.
stuff? Okay.
Anybody know, like, falafel or something maybe in that picture? Anybody know a place I can get a good Euro in the Northland? I had my spot when I lived in South Kansas City. I don't have my spot in the Northland anymore. You like Euros?
I've had them before. Not a huge fan.
But you had one? That's good. Drew, Euro?
I have.
I don't...
Have you ever had a Euro?
I don't know.
There's a place not far from me.
Pita?
Yes.
Tzatziki?
Yes, I've had a pita. It's
Chicken?
pitas are fine. I don't know what else to describe them other than
Well,
fine.
it's not just pita. There's stuff inside of it.
But no, a pita is fine. Like it's fine.
Oh, it doesn't rank highly on your... Where does pita rank in your bread rankings? Not high, it sounds like. What's
no.
your number one bread, Gold? Is it the roll from a certain place?
Ooh.
What's your bread?
Texas
Number one bread?
A Texas Roadhouse roll.
You gotta be careful. That's a serious...
Yeah.
That's a serious thing to give your
Man.
number one. That's all.
That's a great question. It depends on what I'm trying to do. In some circumstances, a certain type of bread is much better than others.
Just
like
bread
I
or
like
like a
I like
burger?
a good rye bread, but not for everything.
Well, that's gotta be in the right sandwich.
Yeah.
Number one bread's gotta be... You would eat it with like 10 different foods almost.
Yeah, because like sourdough's amazing, but again, not for everything.
A buttered dinner roll.
I would say in general, like
tough.
For sandwiches, like a good French bread is phenomenal for sandwiches. But like if I'm talking about at a particular restaurant, well then yes, the rolls at Roadhouse are amazing. But that's not really like a type of bread. That's just we like it because the way they bake it and then the cinnamon butter that goes with it is incredible.
They sell Cheesecake Factory bread at Price Chopper. I bought some the other day, actually.
Nice.
Just ask.
Yeah, someone says Nick the Greek. Yeah, that's the one that's right by me for Euros and stuff.
I've been there. I used to go to Papoose down there in Waldo a lot. It's in a gas station. They do an excellent Euro.
Food from a gas station, banging normally. It's really good.
Dude,
you can
garlic
almost rely
powder,
on it.
the
Onion
worst it
powder,
looks for-
salt, black pepper, turmeric, cumin, Italian seasoning, maybe some cayenne too.
Maybe some cayenne too.
The worse the storefront looks on the outside in a strip mall, the better chance of the food
100%.
being
I will say
absolute
100%.
fire.
In Houston, so there's a lot of things I did not like about living in Houston. Starting with getting robbed at gunpoint. The other part was that I did like was they had food trucks everywhere, and there was a gas station, Cody, that had like some Greek food and different types of sandwiches and stuff, and it was phenomenal.
Papoose is great.
There you go.
Free
That
advertisement for them today.
There you go. That's,
I seriously doubt is the gas station one-stop place. They're paying
now everybody's texting in their favorite breads. King's Hawaiian rolls. That's a strong. That's strong.
I'd say that's just like on the Mount Rushmore. It's
That's
just like
so good.
It has
Yeah.
its place.
Yeah. And you can you can just have that without even putting anything with it. Those rolls are amazing.
Desmond, my youngest, loves them.
A lot of people are mad at me for not doing the Eudora referee for Trash of the Day. That story, by the time we got to, I felt that was from Friday night, and it was a huge deal over the weekend, and I felt like it was too late to the party. Oh, have you not? Or late? Oh, dude. So.
Just tell me
locally-
after. I want to know after.
Well, real quick, locally high school basketball game. Okay, I believe this girl was playing. She got a technical foul or whatever. The ref starts walking him back towards the bench or whatever, and the coach and the ref flops and acts like the coach tripped him or shoved him, but it's a clear flop.
It
And
looked like he almost passed
this
out.
Dude,
actually, is what
this
happened. I was
dude
worried.
laid on the court like he was having a heart attack. They even had like the staff of the school was quickly trying to go get one of those.
I just watched it.
Yeah, isn't that ridiculous?
I mean, that makes LeBron look like he's getting fouled every
That guy
time.
should not be allowed to referee again. What a joke.
Yeah,
How
that's
pathetic.
embarrassing.
Anyway, up next, Chiefs Front Half Hour. Let's talk more about the catch that Bills fans are still talking about because Joe Burrow even had a tweet about, and for once, him and I agree on something.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
This is Kevin Harlan, and I'm here with Rob Seid of Rob Seid Ford. Fresh off a record-breaking year and a successful run at Ford's 2025 Top Volume Award. Rob, how did you do it?
Kevin, it's simple. We pulled out all the stops on price, on trade values, on inventory, and made sure our customers got an experience they couldn't find anywhere else.
Well, the race isn't over. 2026 is here, and you're back in the chase again.
That's right, and we're going even harder this year. More inventory, more aggressive trade-in values, and a buying experience other dealers just can't match.
Well, you're not just talking, you've got the receipts. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google, 4.8 stars with nearly 3,000 reviews. Voted best car dealership in Kansas City by KC Magazine.
The recognition matters, but what actually matters is how you feel when you call or visit Rob Seid Ford.
Inventory, value, transparency, and no pressure. That's why people keep coming back.
Come see us at 135th and State Line or visit us online at robsight.com.
Rob Seid Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
Hey, hockey fans. Now with BetMGM, you can win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets when your anytime goal scorer nets 3. Enter BetMGM's Hat Trick Jackpot all season long for your chance to win some major bonus bets. It's easy. Just log in and opt into the promotion. Then make an anytime score bet on any hockey game of at least $10. If your player of choice scores 3 goals instead of just 1, you'll win your share of the $10K in bonus bets. There's nothing quite like watching a game with a hat trick, especially when it means you can win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets. Ready to shoot your shot? Download the app today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards or bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Let's go!
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Presenting Again Fling's love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour. And now everybody is telling us details on the follow-up of the Eudora basketball game from last week. I'm glad you finally saw the video.
They said it made international news. In fairness, I was drywalling and watching football, so I was not online very much because I told you last weekend I demoed my entire backsplash, and then I drywalled and mudded and all that stuff. Matter of fact, earlier today before the show, I have a proposition for Drew to start the Chiefs Right Half Hour.
A proposition?
Yeah, so like this weekend, I'm going to tile the backsplash. And Drew the other day, I heard him talking about how, with Kramer, I heard him talking about how, you know, him and his wife would like to like one day own a home and like, have a place of their own. And like, he dreams of what it'll be like to have his own place and his own space and all this stuff. I said, why don't you come over this weekend? Help me tile the backsplash so you can learn how to take care of your future house. And, maybe because his dad lives in a different state, maybe I could become a little bit of a father figure for him.
Oh, God.
In the Kansas City area.
Jesus.
Well, I thought maybe I could show him how to do some handy stuff around the house. Help Drew guide him.
You hope you can become a father figure to him?
Well, his dad doesn't live here. So I thought maybe I could be the local father figure.
Oh, my God. Drew, your reaction?
Thoughts?
Of all the things I would never have ever thought that you would utter the words father figure.
Is that a yes?
No.
Are you going to go to...
Are you in the market?
Were you thinking about helping him do the tile, and then once he said he wants to be a father figure to you, said, I'm out?
No.
I show you how to use the wet saw, how to apply. I mean, it's a good skill. This way, when you get your house, you can know how to do some tiling.
But I will say this: given the market that we're, I don't know how soon that'll happen. So I don't.
Drew's 30 years old. Cody's out here. Cody, father of 2 already, trying to have Drew. Oh my goodness.
He could be my third child.
Also, it also sounds like you just want Drew to help you so you have less work for this tile thing.
No, I'm fine to do it on my own. My wife will also help. She's done some tiling before.
I appreciate you wanting to help me understand what it's like to do those things, but I'll have to pass.
Some people are saying you're missing out. Somebody did say I was looking for free labor. Please, Papa. But then other people were saying, I'll come and learn how to do some tile. Will somebody show me how to do this? Please, Papa. It's important, Drew. You're not looking for a local father figure? Someone you can ask questions of?
Father figure.
Someone like, maybe there's some stuff you're trying to figure out next stages for parts of your career or life.
The wonderful thing about technology now is if I need advice,
Happy Daddy Day.
If I need advice from my dad, I can just call him.
Yeah,
and I can talk to my dad, or I can FaceTime him as well. It works out.
Ooh, something about being in that face-to-face conversation, though.
Yeah.
No, and he can't show you how to tile. He can't show you how to do that over FaceTime. I'm offering to teach you. We could do a ceiling fan or a tile. I don't need to do a ceiling fan right now, but simple home repair.
Maybe someone said you meant to say just a mentor to him.
Oh yeah, not a father figure, huh?
Yeah. That just doesn't feel right.
Mentor sounds better.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe mentor.
Well, thank you for that suggestion towards Drew.
Someone said this is coming from the dad whose kindergarten son has a girlfriend.
No, they broke up. They broke up.
Why do you get him to learn the tile? Right. Eventually he might inherit the house. I don't know.
Oh, well, so he did help me with the sledgehammer, but he did not want to help with the drywall. Is 7-year-old too young to show him how to operate a tile saw?
Probably. I would
be watching over to make sure he's safe. Do you think is tile saw no good? He could probably put tile up. I don't know if I'd let him use a tile saw.
Now we're going to do something extremely fun.
He did.
Hey, I need you to swing and hit this wall as hard as you can.
Who is your daddy?
All right, let's talk some Chiefs football.
Sure. I've already derailed us enough for the Chiefs Red Half Hour.
Yeah.
Feels like the old days, A proper Chiefs Red Half Hour derailing.
So
the NFL, it's like we were just talking about the 18-game schedule, and you and I both know that every year in the offseason, they find some point of emphasis. I can't believe they're going to let the Bills bully them into doing it again. It is going to be the catch. They're going to bully us into and make a point of emphasis on the catch again. And I'm annoyed. I'm pre-annoyed that Mike Florio and other people are already reporting they're going to look at it again. I thought they got both calls right.
Same.
They were different. I looked at them again this morning. Devontae Adams makes a catch, is shimmying himself to the ground, and after his knee touches the ground in the completion of the catch, the ball is then ripped out. In the other one, it is one solid, fluid motion that they are embattled for the ball. And here's the other part that I think has been under-discussed in this, before we talk about how the NFL is going to make this their big offseason push. Can a Bills fan, if there's one listening for whatever reason, maybe they had to listen to some other sports talk after their team had an absolute disaster, I would describe, of a press conference today with their general manager and their owner today. Can someone explain to me how it would ever be a catch for the Bills? How is that not an incompletion? If it is not an interception, he did not go to the ground, maintain possession of the ball to the ground. The ball was in somebody else's hand. How is it at the very least? They kept talking like he deserved to be at the 20. How's it not an incompletion? How's it a catch ever?
Yeah, that was
never a catch.
That was the whole thing on Monday when we discussed it, which is just take the defender out of it. If you catch a football or you go up in the air to catch a football and you land on the ground and the ball pops out, we all agree it's incomplete. That's essentially what happened, except there was a defender that grabbed the ball as it was getting loose or pried it away before he actually went to the ground. So we don't have to rehash the exact catch again, but this might surprise you. Joe Burrow hadn't tweeted in 2 years or so, and he nailed it on the tweet. Him and I are on the same page.
2 years. This is obviously a shot at the Bills, by the way.
He sent out a tweet. This is from his real account, okay? This is at Joey B. The amount of people that don't understand what a catch is in the rule book flabbergasts me, and it's not the officials. The 2 plays yesterday were not difficult calls, and they got them both right. He went out of Twitter hibernation just to fire that tweet off. He's 100% correct. He's 100% correct.
He's taking a shot at the Bills. They cry. Like, we talk about, like, Jamar Chase. Maybe we don't like him. He talks trash from, like, an area of confidence, as in, I'm going to beat you. I'm better than you. And maybe they don't. But all the Bills do is, like, they're doing things to us. Stop picking on us. It's everyone else's fault. Their press conference was another example of that today. But because it's Josh Allen and the Bills are a powerful franchise and they whine the loudest, every other year, the point of emphasis from the NFL is something for the Bills. A couple of years ago, it was Jawan Taylor false starting. But this year, it's going to be the catch. It's going to be the catch, Gold, and we already don't know. They got to simplify it. They got to lessen the rule. They got to make it easier to get a catch or harder. I don't care. Make it clear and defining. Every year, I don't want to argue about what's a catch. And I thought these two they got right, and we're still arguing over it. That's annoying.
This is where replay has made this aspect of the game worse. There are benefits to replay. I actually still think overall it's been a good thing. I know some people are saying we wish we could get.
It's a slow motion screenshot.
Yeah, it's taking a screenshot of a particular play and acting like that just proves something when that's not. We could all find a screenshot of a particular moment on an NFL game where you can change what actually happened.
Yeah,
you just can. Now, Bills fans, I think some of it in the denial about the catch is one thing, but then today you've got. And the reason why we're bringing about the Bills and the Chiefs right half hour, they're the Chiefs' biggest rival, okay?
Yeah.
And so you have their owner holding a press conference today and saying stuff that I'm shocked an owner would say publicly at a press conference. Like, do I wish that at times Clark Hunt was more accessible? Yeah, I do.
Brett
but
Veach
also,
too.
same. But I will say, you don't need the extreme of Jerry Jones, and you also don't want your owner doing what the Bills owner did today, which is throwing a current player under the bus. Like, that happened. And their owner defending the guy they kept is one thing. But in defending the guy you kept, you don't need to also have a wide receiver that is still under contract with you that you drafted 2 years ago taking strays. And this is some of what was said today.
Yeah, can I interrupt? I'll address the Keon situation. The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon. I'm not saying Brandon wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice. That was Brandon being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff, who felt strongly about the player. And, he's taken, for some reason, heat over it and not saying a word about it, but I'm here to tell you the true story.
So just, whether it's true or not, to just completely run over Sean McDermott when he's already left the building and then randomly steer the vehicle towards Keon Coleman in the same time, who's still on your roster, was bizarre behavior.
This is the part that really doesn't make any sense, is why do you feel so weak? Why do you feel so scared that people know that you drafted Keon Coleman? It comes from a position of powerlessness. This idea that, like, well, I need everyone to know that I'm not responsible for Keon Coleman. Why? Draft picks get missed. Players get misevaluated. People sometimes are wrong. This idea that in this press conference, you feel so embarrassed by the Keon Coleman pick They're going to actively throw a player you have on your roster under the bus. It makes no sense.
Do you think Keon Coleman gets traded this offseason for like a seventh-round pick?
He's sure as hell not going to be a Bill. I'll take him for a 7th-round pick.
If I was the Chiefs,
I'd
call today for sure. That.
Something tells me he'll be motivated in that Chiefs-Bills game to get a little revenge.
More than just a handful of teams are going to be calling around this offseason to see if they want to move on from.
You hate him so much, cut it.
Keon Coleman.
Let him choose it. If I were him, I'd say cut me. Let me choose my own team. You think I stink so bad? Let me choose where I go.
Yeah, let me get out of here.
Then leave me the hell out of this.
Yesterday we had Mike Shope on from our sister station, WGR 550 up in Buffalo, and their morning show had a caller very upset at their GM who just got promoted.
Most of all, Faith, I wish you well, Sean McDermott, because wherever you go, you will be a success, and I hope you win a Super Bowl. And to you, Brandon Bean, you better show up. You better show up because the wrong man got fired, in my opinion. You better show up. All my eyes are going to be on you. You think you got in Terry Pagula's ear? You may have, but I don't have the rest of my life. I want a Super Bowl right now.
So good.
I might be dead soon,
Brandon Bean.
I do. Boy, the
Brandon Bean.
The viscera in which she says Brandon Bean. I mean, you could feel it. Yeah, you could feel it. Look,
man, things are breaking down in Buffalo, man.
I'm
They're
actually feeling better about
freaking
Buffalo
out.
not being.
They're freaking out.
I want to talk about bad organizations. Holy
Josh
smokes.
Allen should be a little nervous about what the hell is happening up in Buffalo.
They look a lot worse today.
They look incompetent in a
They
way.
look like
yeah.
Nobody wants to take any responsibility for anything. Remember when I told you, and Josh Allen is the only person I'm letting off the hook for this at the moment. When I told you it felt like fans were doing it, this is a top-down approach. That's why the GM won't even take credit for a single draft pick because one went south.
Josh Allen did take accountability. I will say, in fairness to him, nobody, even the national media, we've seen people across, ESPN even try to back him up. Josh Allen said, "It's my fault. I cost them the game. Period." Why don't people just listen to the quarterback when he says it's my bad? Because it was.
But I don't know, man. Just genuinely, very weird. Very weird the way that they handled this whole thing, and just feels like
Look what they're doing to their fans, man. Look what they're doing. The diehard fans.
Did you guys hear in the presser too? They asked Brandon, and then they asked. I guess Terry interrupted and asked what went wrong for the team.
Yeah.
I've got to put here.
Brandon, at the trade deadline, you said that you felt the team had a championship roster. What, in your mind, led to the group falling short of that?
I mean, Jay, a bad call.
If that's their mindset, that's why they came up short, was only because of a bad call, not a crappy roster, not continued playoff failure, and Josh Allen having his worst playoff game. That the catch is why they are not advancing. That's a problem. If that's really the
when they
mindset.
turned the ball over 5 times.
I think it finally got to them where Patrick Mahomes wasn't there, Joe Burrow wasn't there, and they couldn't get over the fact that they couldn't get there again. That it all is just combusting right now, and it is all just overwhelming.
I'm just going to
say
say
that's why they're reacting this way. It has become too overwhelming to deal with.
I'm not usually let's talk about performance in a press conference guy, but this isn't like heat of the moment. We just lost the game. We lost our cool for a minute. McDermott, right, being mad about a play. This is you've had a week since your team was eliminated, and they're coming back here at a press conference. This makes if I were a head coaching candidate, this makes this job far less appealing. I would now rather have the Ravens job than this one. And I understand both quarterbacks are great. But if I were head coach and they're like, you can have either job, Cody. Do you want the Ravens job or the Bills job? Ravens, please. And yesterday I would have told you Bills. It looks so bad. It's no thanks. Actually, I didn't realize you guys are this big of a mess. And all this infighting and power struggle and lack of accountability. I'm good, thanks.
I get the concern, and I'm sure you're not alone. I think it would have you thinking twice a little bit. But if I still had my pick and I was an established head coach that is looking for a job, I would personally still rather coach Josh Allen than coach Lamar Jackson. That's not even like a shot at Lamar. It's just between the two, I'm picking Josh Allen. I think Lamar's incredible.
From a health standpoint, especially over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, it's just also what we think the rest of the career might look like from a availability. Yeah. So I would still choose the Bills job because of Josh Allen. But yeah, I think I'd be concerned hearing the GM talk the way he did, hearing ownership talk the way they did, and I'm worried that this Buffalo caller lady is going to come after my franchise. I'm looking over my shoulder a little bit. That call was unbelievable. It really was.
Brandon Bean.
Someone compared her to Mario.
You compared her to Phyllis, the old Phyllis.
Phyllis on the Feinbaum show, I feel like, is the perfect
R.I.P.
comp.
I
Yes,
did
R.I.P.
watch. I did enjoy watching Feinbaum get dragged on Monday. After Indiana won the championship, they went back from that.
Yeah, he deserves
ago
it.
when
He
was
deserves
like,
that.
he's like, I'm not even sure he's a good coach. I can't believe they paid
He also
him.
said he would leave the country if an SEC team didn't win the title, I think, or whatever it was.
I mean, you can go back to so many things that either he said, and then Cam Newton was like, I'd much rather watch Arkansas and Mississippi State than Indiana.
Florio also said he'd quit if Tyreek was still in the league, and Vrabel once said he'd cut off his penis if he won the Super Bowl.
What will you quit over? What will you commit to quitting over and not actually following through?
You know?
Lottery? Yeah.
Win the lottery, I'll follow through. You know,
I
we'll see
guess
my ass
Vrabel
again.
technically might, I don't know if he obviously, oh, well.
I don't assume he'll cut off his penis.
I don't think he would
He could
either.
win the Super Bowl.
He'll also not only is it obviously not going to happen, he'll also just say, I said that when I was the coach of the Titans, and I'm the Patriots coach. Yeah.
I'm sure he'd be asked about it.
Someone wanted to know, what kind of cigarettes do we think this Buffalo caller smokes?
Pall Malls. No, wait.
Marlboro.
No, hold on. It's not.
You had to go way back. Marlboro.
And I hope you win a Super Bowl. And to you, Brandon Bean.
I think it
You
might be
better show up.
I think it
You
might be
better
Pall
show
Mall
up.
100s. But I could be talked into, Drew,
You better show up.
I can be talked into the unfiltered Camels.
You may have, but I don't have the rest of my life.
You're going all the way
I
back to
want a
Camels,
Super
Cody?
Bowl right now.
I could be talked into that.
Marlboro Reds.
Let's talk Chiefs here for just a minute. As we are in the Chiefs Red Half Hour. The coaching staff stuff we had talked at the beginning of the show. They're making more changes than they're not changing OC, but even more staff changes were found yesterday from Sam McDowell and Tucker Franklin, who realized as they continue to check the site, they realize here's another offensive coach, here's another running backs coach, here's another assistant offensive line coach. More guys are slowly going away and they're turning this thing around. I was thinking about it because at least they are making some effort in changing these things. And I appreciate that they're making a strong effort to make those changes. I thought this I want you to play. Travis Kelce was on New Heights today and was talking about the return of Eric Bieniemy. And we can talk about whether or not it means Travis Kelce's coming back. But this is part of the reason I think we're going to change everything, but we're going to try to keep Bieniemy at the top. If I'm trying to find a reason to keep Bieniemy, this is what I think Travis means.
I love that. I think it's great. I think it's a marriage that's going to pick up right where it left off. EB and who he is as a coach, you can see kind of his personality and what he brings to this table in that Chicago team. I know Ben Johnson has his own version of that. He's a very tough guy, and what he did in Detroit, he brought over as well. And you can see those running backs over Chicago, and their body of work was definitely a Eric Bieniemy style of football, man. And
hell yeah,
I can't wait to see him back in the building, man. He's one of my favorite coaches of all time. One of my favorite people of all time. I've had so many unbelievable, growing moments under him as a player, as a person. And I just love the guy, and it's going to be awesome to see him back in the building and see him back wearing the Chiefs logo, baby.
Look,
the last part where he said it's going to be awesome to see him back in the building.
How excited did that get you when you heard that part?
That sounds like a guy who wants to come back to the team a little bit. And look, Eric Bieniemy,
he already had said he wants to play football. That part's not new.
It's just the
He just
body
said, does he
part,
think
yeah.
he can hold up?
Look, the Eric Bieniemy routine and the way he coached did not work in a lot of places. But here's the truth, because the leaders, the most important players in the Chiefs locker room are still the same people, they'll back their guy because it worked with them. It might not work everywhere. It might not work with a losing franchise. I blamed, as you remember, Washington for part of the issue. It didn't work with Bieniemy at the time anyway, a team that I didn't think was ready to win. And so they didn't want to hear what it took to win. But because Travis Kelce and Chris Jones and Patrick Mahomes and some of the biggest names are still the biggest names in the locker room, stand by that guy. Kareem Hunt, hell.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the biggest names stand by that guy. It probably will work to a degree here. I just don't know what level. I still would have made the change. But I like that they've made every change besides
that's the
him
thing.
on the offensive staff. It's just like Bieniemy and Heck. That's it.
They have overhauled the entire offensive staff. They really have. You're talking about 5 new coaches on your offense, including a new offensive coordinator. We've gone through the concerns about having EB as the coordinator and maybe not somebody else or whatever. But the idea that like Andy Reid did not look at what happened and recognize that there has to be change and willing to make changes. he made the changes, I think, that almost had to happen, which is the new OC. Positional coaches are much easier to move on from. He's only kept 2 guys, really, that have been with him forever. And that is Andy Heck so far and Dave Tobe so far. I mean, obviously Spags wasn't going anywhere.
And I can make an argument for Heck. He made Kingsley better. Right. He's got 2 All-Pros. And
so they've made,
Creed and Trey.
I would say other than a different OC, if you wanted a different OC or you want a new special teams coordinator, and I'll raise my hand on that for sure.
Yeah, that one.
Other than that, they have changed the staff about as much as you really change the staff unless you have a brand new head coach. Like nobody unless you have the whole organization reset, 5 staff changes on offense is about as many staff changes as you're going to see, especially for an established head coach like Andy Reid.
I think that's probably right. And look, let's take Tobe out of this conversation because what we're talking about is the turnover on the offensive staff, a unit that has fallen far below any realistic expectations they should have had for themselves over the last 2 years. They fired their offensive coordinator, in my opinion. They can call it whatever the hell they want. They told him to walk. So they fired their offensive coordinator. While they brought back a familiar face, they did change offensive coordinators. Maybe not as much as we wanted this show, but they changed offensive coordinators. And everyone else so far, outside of Heck, including all the guys who worked with Heck, they've cleaned house. They're going to change who coaches wide receivers, running backs, part of who coaches the offensive line, and the development outside of Bieniemy. And so I'll give them, I'm still annoyed that they didn't go outside or at least pretend to interview anyone outside the hire. But outside of that, they've done what we've asked, or at least what I want.
My thing is, we've talked more on the offensive end of what if it's the same? What does that mean for Andy? If special teams is just a problem again, we're a month into the season. That's one
season, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one thing for Butker to be missing kicks. It's another thing though when the coverage unit constantly holding on the return unit, mistakes like that. Yeah. For a special teams coordinator that gets quite a bit of say on the back end of the roster. Not every special teams coordinator has the trust and has earned the respect to be able to go and say, hey, you're on the fringe about this wide receiver number 6. I want this guy because I know he can play special teams better than this guy. They're willing to make those decisions for him. But the special teams unit, it goes without saying, Butker, yes, has to be better. But the coverage unit, that's more on coaching than Butker making or missing kicks. At this point in his career, how much do we actually think any special teams coordinator is influencing Harrison Butker kicking?
I think they just need a new kicker. Well, but they can't get that for another year.
I'm just saying, the coaching on special teams, I view that's the return game. That's the block scheme. That's all that kind of stuff.
On those.
Butker has been in the league long enough. I don't think suddenly Dave Tobe is going to fix his kicking.
No. I think he's got a routine. He can try to coach him up because I still think it was between. Here's the only argument I make for Tobin the kicking is I'm actually pretty convinced it was between Harrison Butker's ears is part of the problem.
Right.
So I guess I do give him a little bit of there in the sense that you got to figure out how to get this guy out of his own damn head. But that's different to me than the offensive staff. And what I was more focused on is they continue to make changes on most levels, at least on that. So.
Up next, we'll get to what's trending. We'll talk about Carlos Beltran, who is now a Hall of Famer, will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. On one hand, with the ties to Kansas City, very, very cool. On the other hand, it frustrates me a bit. I'll explain why that is next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. I need you to listen up. It's 2026, and this is going to be your best year yet when it comes to sex because you're going to take the advice and you're going to try the chewable tablets from Blue Chew. Blue Chew's tablets can help you feel and perform at your best. Their licensed medical providers work with you so you get the right ingredient for your individual prescription. And again, Blue Chew's tablets, if you don't like swallowing pills, they're chewable, so that's not a problem. Be more confident where it counts. Blue Chew's a small chew for a big difference. Dana's just got longer and better for everyone, and you'll have flashbacks to your glory days because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Be ready when she is. Here's a deal for you. Check this out. You get your first month of Blue Chew free. Go to BlueChew.com. Get your first month free when you use the promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 for shipping. That's it. Go to BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use the promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 for shipping, and you'll get your first month free. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements, more energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate, 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate, 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Escape to your new coastal seafood paradise. Introducing Aqua Pennies, where the freshest seafood, a full-service raw bar, prime steaks and chops, exquisite handcrafted cocktails, and a one-of-a-kind atmosphere come together in perfect harmony. Aqua Pennies is now open in Park Place, Leawood. Don't miss out. Experience something truly different. Tantalize your taste buds and elevate your evening out. To learn more, go to aquapennies.com.
Coast into Aqua Pennies, now open for lunch.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus comes out swinging. Highlight machine Justin Gaethje collides with Paddy the Baddy Pimblett in a must-see high-octane main event. Plus, Sean Sugar O'Malley faces off against Song Yadong in a stand-up war filled with high-level striking. Pay-per-view just got knocked out. Stream UFC 324 live on January 24th, only on Paramount Plus. Visit ParamountPlus.com/UFC to get started.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey, Royals fans, it's Vern, and the Hot Stove Show is back Thursday night starting at 6 o'clock right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on what's trending coaching news in the NFL. We know that Brian Daboll and Lou Anarumo are first up for in-person interviews for the Bills. Remember, Daboll was already in Buffalo, knows Josh Allen well. He was fired in season this year as the head coach of the Giants. Lou Anarumo, longtime defensive coordinator with the Bengals, took over in Indy this year and did a very nice job with that defense before the entire team just collapsed at the end of the season. Anthony Lynn, you guys probably remember that name. He used to be the Chargers head coach. It's been a while since we've heard his name, but he is also scheduled for an interview this weekend. He was a finalist for the job before Sean McDermott got it, if I'm not mistaken. I think
he was
that
with
was
Sean McDermott and part of the interview process during that time.
Yeah.
I got to say, that is not a great list. That looks like three coaches slightly worse than Sean McDermott, if you're asking me, or at worst, or at best, the same as Sean McDermott. Doesn't feel like it's not an inspiring list. That's all. Yeah. Next up on What's Trending, yesterday it was announced that Carlos Beltran, along with Andrew Jones, were elected to the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame. Finally, after a few years, getting enough votes to do so. The guy who's stunning to me still is Schilling and some of these others. Barry Larkin has the same career war as Derek Jeter. Get him in the Hall of Fame. What the hell are we holding our guy Barry Larkin down
Jeter,
for?
always catching strays from you. Uncalled for.
Barry Larkin's not a Hall of Famer?
No. I will say I did once shoot craps with Andrew Jones in Lake Tahoe. It was a great time. Super nice dude. Also one of the, I would argue, the single greatest defensive outfielder I've ever watched play the game. I mean, he has a gajillion gold gloves for a reason. He was unbelievable in center field. But congrats to former Royal Carlos Beltran.
We're going to talk more about that news and what it means for Royals fans, but also the bigger picture conversation about the Baseball Hall of Fame. Elsewhere on What's Trending, KU last night, late one in Boulder. They got to win 75-69. Remember, Jock Vaughn was the acting head coach with Bill Self, as the team is saying, under the weather. We know he went to the hospital earlier in the week. Right now, it looks like he is on track, at least, to be at practice and coach later on this week. We'll see. Missouri at home last night fell to number 21 Georgia 74-72. And Kansas State got its first Big 12 win of the season with an 81-78 win against Utah.
I mean, he was dancing a little bit. I thought that was kind of embarrassing, but outside of that, I'll let it go. Next up on What's Trending.
Why are you such a K-State hater, Cody?
Yeah, I guess
Why
between the Felix
hater?
and UDK Uzama and now
Such a
this.
hater.
I'm not a K-State hater. Drew quit on him. Drew chose him as his squad and then quit.
Yeah.
At least I didn't do that. Plus, I work for the University of Missouri school system.
I am in favor of all three local programs. I recently also said K-State's having the best portal out of anybody, which I still believe.
Maybe Larkin is a Hall of Famer. Maybe I was looking on the...
2012 he was inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, I apologize. I thought he was still on the short list of guys who hadn't gotten in. Maybe gotten late. Lastly on What's Trending, the New York Mets
You just
have
wanted to
acquired-
take a shot
I
at
did.
Derek Jeter.
It's true. I did. Have acquired outfielder Luis Robert Jr. from the Chicago White Sox. Teams announced on Tuesday night. Chicago will receive two players in exchange. A big one is Luis Angel Acuna and a pitching prospect, Truman Polly.
Yeah.
It's essentially trading our guy who looks like a star who's not working out for top prospect who played 1 year for us. We'll buy the control. We'll give you the guy who's done more in the bigs than Luis Robert. We'll see which way it goes.
Yeah, the only reason why Luis Angel Acuna is only because of the card stuff. He was at one point in time on the rookie card market this past year, heading into the season, he was viewed as one of the big. He ended up not having a great year, but he's now a member of the Chicago White Sox. That is what's trending.
You know,
here on Cody
I was
Gold.
saying I work at UMKC, as we know. I sent you guys a video yesterday. I almost canceled Class 1.
Figures. You just don't want to teach.
No, come on.
Yeah.
Would you guys have canceled? So 30 minutes before the class starts, I'm sitting in the classroom. A couple of students have arrived, but I start hearing a distinguishable noise, which is just like water, like dripping water. I'm like, where's that coming from?
Okay.
So I open the door to my classroom, and directly across from my classroom is a bathroom, like a men's room. And water is pouring out from under the door. At this time, I'd say slowly creeping up, but it's definitely coming out from under the door. I press the button that automatically opens the door, and you can see from the ceiling tile, water is just
Do you feel like you were in the Titanic for a little bit and the water was just, how much water there?
Well, this is bad. So I immediately, there was one other person in the hallway, and I said, have you told anybody? Like, campus or anything? They said, no. I immediately look up like the campus security number. I call them. I tell them, they're like, well, how bad's the problem? Pretty bad. I would send somebody immediately. Takes about 10 minutes, I would say, for them to show up. At this time, I've built a trash can, cardboard box funnel to try to keep it away from the door.
Only you would do that.
I'm just moving it away from the door
Look
because
at
I don't want
you.
it in the room. 10 minutes later, I swear to you, the maintenance guy shows up. He stares at it for like 5 seconds. There's a look of dread on his face, and then he leaves.
You didn't say anything?
You didn't cancel class, though, from this.
He comes back 10 minutes later and says that apparently a pipe burst in the attic, and this is the only place that the water is surfacing.
We're going to push like the Dickens.
I imagine that's what he said, and we're going to fix this thing.
And so they eventually showed up with a shop vac or whatever that was running the first like 30 minutes the class was.
So your class wasn't delayed?
But if somebody hadn't solved the problem sooner, I think I would have canceled it. There was brown water.
Oh, it was from the toilet?
I think it was rusty pipe water. Okay. I don't think it was toilet water because it did not have an odor.
I was say, was it smell?
It did not have an odor, but it was definitely brown. Definitively brown, like rusty water.
Old college buildings, man. Old pipes.
I borderline thought I should have canceled class.
You were looking for a reason to get out of teaching. And you
fact
almost
that you were
got it.
already
You almost
there-
got it. It's day one of class.
I know, but like if sludge water's running into your classroom, this is the only classroom that the water was even threatening. Like, because it's that classroom, you got to go all the way down to like the women's center at the end of the hallway before you hit another room at all. Other than that, it's just a big atrium. There's not another classroom in that area 40 feet away. It's the only one near the dirty bathroom water, you know? I said I thought about it. I held class.
How was the class? Everything was good? Everything was smooth? Were there any scoffs at the syllabus or anything like that?
No, it seems like it's going to be, once again, another interesting mix, I feel like, of students, but we'll see.
These poor kids. Man.
We mostly just covered expectation. I went through my speech about you better not blanket excuse something at the end of the semester, and I know one of you is going to do it. Just tell me now which one of you it is. That's what I said. Nobody fessed up. Which one of you is going to try to excuse make at the end of the semester? You can tell me before. You don't have to wait till the end. Which one of you?
Did you
They wouldn't tell me.
did you suggest that while they're away from home, you can be a father figure to them?
I did not suggest
Please
that.
don't ever do that.
Drew, are you going to take me up on my offer? Come tile this weekend. You
I
can
don't
learn
wanna-
something.
I know. I'm sure
I'll
I
feed
will.
you. I'll give you a couple drinks if you want it.
It's getting weirder and weirder by the minute.
I'll feed you.
Cody said he wants to be a father figure to Drew earlier. Now I'll come on over. I'll feed you. He's 30 years old. He's
Let's
married.
Give him a medal.
He doesn't need
Everybody
you.
could use some growing up, you know?
Anyway.
I haven't had the position. Hold on. Gold and I haven't been in the position to grow up in this area because we don't have houses.
What do you mean I grew up in this area? What do you
No. I'm talking about to grow up essentially from the standpoint
To
of
own a
being
home?
able to, own a home and also go through
I'm
the
saying-
tiling process. We don't need to grow up until we need to. I don't need to learn to tile until the time
Terrible
happens.
attitude, you know? Could never. I was learning to tile when I was in like early middle school. It's not like it's not like I owned my home then.
Hold it. Did you learn from your actual father?
No, my dad's not handy at all.
Okay.
So who was your father figure? Anyway, I'm done. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. We'll get to all 32 in about 8 minutes or so. I want to talk more about Carlos Beltran, who is going to be inducted now into Cooperstown later on this summer. And it is awesome to see. And I think, he spent 7 of his 20 years in Kansas City. He probably is going in as a New York Met. I understand it. It sucks, but I understand it. I still think Royals fans can absolutely claim, if you will, however you want to, claim his career and a part of his career that you feel like he is a Royal. Because he spent 7 years here. He started with the Royals organization.
He had some great years here. Won Rookie of the Year here.
I told you earlier, as someone that did grow up here, and time-wise, I was still very young. I was like 8 or 9 years old when Carlos Beltran made his baseball debut in Kansas City. And so he was the first Royals player I can truly remember watching play and that I became a fan of then. Eventually Mike Sweeney as well. But Carlos Beltran was that player, so much so that I went and had a Mets jersey of Carlos Beltran. I was bummed out when they traded for John Buck and Mark T, and I was not happy. I was devastated. I played on the MLB video game. I played with the Mets for a while because of it and everything. So I was definitely a Carlos Beltran fan. And that outfield,
because he was a star and he played in Kansas City, and he was when you were 10.
He was a star. Yeah, I was right around 10 years old, and we all know that outfield was ridiculous. With Dye and Damon and Beltran.
Short-lived, unfortunately, the three of them
very, very short-lived. But, it's cool to see him get his props now and in his time to shine, if you will. So that part of it is very, very cool. I guess my frustration with yesterday is not about Carlos Beltran. It is, once again, with the voting process in the Baseball Hall of Fame. In this case, it benefited Carlos Beltran. Great. Good for him. He should be a Hall of Famer.
The same as it benefited other people in the past.
My issue is that the voters for the Hall of Fame, they pick and choose which cheating is better or worse, not as bad, and which player they liked better because this guy was a jerk to me in the clubhouse when I covered him, or this guy wasn't. It's why, David Ortiz, everybody loves him. He's in, but Kurt Schilling and Roger Clemens, those guys are jerks or whatever. They cheated, but we're not putting them in. And then you got Beltran, who wasn't a steroid user, but he cheated. We know that. Yep. And you got other players that are in and other players that are not, and they all maybe cheated. So I guess I don't like playing this game of this cheating is not as bad as that cheating, and this guy is mean, and this guy was nice. And no, that's a terrible way to go about your voting process.
I don't want to go about it that way. I would just put everyone in. Like A-Rod, for instance, got only 40% of the vote versus 84%, which was enough, the 78% or 76%, whatever it is, the 75 maybe, whatever the threshold is, to be a Hall of Famer. Like, for instance, A-Rod got less than Andy Pettit and Chase Utley. Felix Hernandez, who is someone I just also feel like should be a Hall of Famer. Because, I don't know, sometimes it's weird. Like, when I watch a sport, and this applies to running back too, when I watch a sport and I say, that looks like a Hall of Famer, to me, when I watched you, were you one of the best players in the entire sport the entire time you played? Felix Hernandez was one of the best pitchers in baseball the time he pitched. So, for me, that's what a Hall of Famer is.
Sure.
What's weird, though, is if you are, I'll just say, and I'm not saying they should do it this way, if they are going to parse it out, I'm sorry, Carlos Beltran's cheating is different than A-Rod's. Carlos Beltran helped organize a video scheme for players he wasn't even hitting. Everything he did as a Hall of Famer had nothing to do with why he should be in the Hall of Fame, right? He's not in the Hall of Fame as a coach. It has absolutely nothing to do with him as a Hall of Famer. So if you are going to separate him, I'm sorry, Carlos Beltran is different than A-Rod and different than all the other steroid users. Or, in my case, if George Springer and Jose Altuve ever get up for the Hall of Fame, they cheated while they were players. It's different for me. It is.
I hear it.
I would just let them all in.
We can make new rules.
I'm in agreement with you there.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It is different. I just think we can make those. I can scalp out a rule one way or the other, or carve out a rule one way or the other. It's the Pete Rose stuff too, right? Most people view gambling on the sport, even if it was for his team to win, as way worse than a lot of these other things. But it is still people are just altering it for their own morals and what they think is worse than the other thing. Yeah. To decide. And I think in Cooperstown, I have not been there. Neither of you. I would love to go someday, and maybe we'll have to wait, as we were saying earlier, when Salvi gets inducted down the road.
Or Greinke. Greinke was one of my favorite players ever.
But
so.
I think you have a separate wing, because the Hall of Fame is supposed to tell the story of baseball. So you have a separate wing, or, I haven't been there, so I don't know how their setup is, whether it's a video screen or blocked lettering or whatever that says steroid era, and that's where the guys that are in the Hall of Fame that played during the steroid era are displayed. Their plaques are displayed. So be it. It's part of the history of baseball. We can't eliminate and act like the steroid era did not exist. We cannot act like the Astros trash can cheating scandal and Beltran and Alex Cora's involvement and all this kind of stuff. We can't act like that didn't happen either.
I got to say, yes, and I agree with you. Again, I'd put everybody in. It is weird because it's not wrong. Like somebody saying, hey, he ruined the integrity of the game. Or
Beltran,
he actively hurt the integrity of the game. Now, betting on it is still different, but whatever. It doesn't matter. He hurt the integrity of the game by doing it. It was weird. I am kind of happy for Beltran because he wore that scandal worse than all of them combined, which is insane to me. The active manager of the team has been managing in baseball since. The players have contracts, have been paid. The worst they get is a little bit of a boo at Kauffman Stadium when they come through town. And so, he wore it for whatever reason. He got the brunt of the punishment out of anybody. And I would say, well, he was the person who was active. He's not the person who benefited the most, is I guess what I would say. Matter of fact, he's the person who benefited the least. A.J. Hinch got a World Series title, got another high-paying job in Major League Baseball. The other guys got paid, got contracts, got stats. He got fired and has not worked in baseball since. So, of all the people, it was weird that he was wearing it, I guess, more than everyone. I'm with you, though. Just
I'm guessing
this is the cheater's ward. You know what the truth is? I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't even go that far. I just put them all in. Here's Mark McGwire. Here's all the stats. Wait, we just pretending like kids don't have Google? Like, wow, Barry Bonds was good. I should learn some more about Barry Bonds. Yeah, massive steroid user. Was a Hall of Fame before he probably touched the drug, is the truth. But he used a bunch. And then he hit a bunch of homers because of it.
I think the reason why guys like Altuve and others got away easy with this whole thing, and then you mentioned Beltran, how he had to wear it, is the MLBPA, they protected the heck out of the active player in that scandal.
Yep.
And that's why the punishment was so soft and all that. And yeah, they will have that attached to them the rest of their lives. But Beltran, he had nobody representing him. Think about it. Like, there's no manager that I know of, manager association. No. You know, there's a player association and then there's baseball.
And then Hinch always played the well, I barely knew. What are you talking about? That was Beltran's thing. He just threw his own guy under the bus. By the way, Jeff Passan reporting another free agent off the books. Free agent outfielder / first baseman Cody Bellinger has a new home. He's signing a free agent deal with the Yankees.
Oh, not here.
Not here. The Yankees.
He's going back to New York?
He'll be a Yankee.
Going back to the Yankees.
Yep. So
it's a nice ballpark for him to hit at.
I'd say that's a pretty good fit. Yeah, stylistic.
Hit 272, 29 homers last year, 98 RBI.
Yeah, he had a nice year. He'd have been. I think Royals fans, they were dreaming of Kyle Tucker and Bellinger and some of these ones that were never coming here. We can talk about the outfielders that maybe they could have acquired, but it wasn't going to be any of those.
Like a Harrison Bader or somebody like that.
Yeah. Now, Luis Robert, like the trade the Mets made last night, I guess if they wanted to trade in the division, you could have made a move like that if you just were a big believer in Luis Robert. But you were going to have to sell him one of your top prospects who hadn't performed yet. It'd almost be like giving up Cags for it, you know? And I'm not giving up Caglione for Luis Robert at this stage.
All right, let's get to all 32. So we know that Dolphins have hired Jeff Hafley, new head coach, comes over from a defensive coordinator spot in Green Bay. Their general manager, though, also came from Green Bay, so that's the whole connection. John Eric Sullivan. And he said something that seems so simple. You're like, no kidding. But if you go back and you look at the issues the Dolphins have had other than just Tua being Tua, what is the one thing we've all said towards the end of the year? All right, they're great when it's warm and perfect weather in September. That offense is high flying back 2 years ago when it was Tyreek and everybody going. Come wintertime, we saw firsthand here at the wild card game.
Man, that game was ugly.
Don't know how to win in elements.
Ever.
So their new GM said that he wants his team to be able to win in any element, noting that all three division rivals play in the Northeast. Quote, our division runs through Buffalo and New England and New York, cold weather places. There's a saying in our business, fast gets slow, but big doesn't get small. We're not going to sacrifice speed and explosion and skill for a bunch of big stuff, a bunch of big, stiff guys, but we're going to have substance to us at all levels of our team. Sounds so basic, like no kidding.
In fairness, New York plays inside, but I get his point.
The Jets do not play inside.
MetLife's not inside?
No, outside. Remember the Super Bowl? No, it's outdoors. I'm 100% outdoors. 100%. No, you were outdoors, man. You were
outdoors?
You were outdoors.
Pretty hungover. I'm not gonna lie.
You were definitely outdoors, man. Anyway, so...
That scene was outdoors?
Yes, 100%.
I was sitting outside then?
Yes, you were.
I was outside.
So,
I felt like I was inside.
But
been a long time. Been a decade.
So
it was a Travis Kelce interception game.
So yeah, man, it does seem obvious.
Yeah.
But that is how they have to build their team. It cannot just be optimal when it's 85 degrees in September down in Miami. They have to be able to win in a physical game with the run game at times, even down in Miami. When they get to December, whether it's divisional games or eventually the playoffs, chances are they're not hosting playoff games in Miami all the time.
Yeah, I will say. Look, I've got a new player that I'm here to root for, and his name is Keon Coleman. Come on down to Kansas City. Yeah. And what's weird about this is, in the middle of the press conference today, everyone wanted to just throw active Buffalo Bill Keon Coleman under the bus for his, slow start as a member of the Buffalo Bills, saying that it wasn't Bean who wanted him, but instead it was the other coaching staff who wants it. I'll tell you right now, if they will give him up for free, I'm in. You guys do realize, right, that Keon Coleman's been the same level of disappointment as Xavier Worthy? I don't know how to break it there, and I don't know where that sound's coming.
My hands were up here. So
I did not do anything, I promise.
It's coming from over there. I'm not saying you hit something, but
I'm
it's
not hitting
definitely
anything, but it is coming on from my side, and I don't know what it is.
He has 960 yards receiving in the first 2 years. You know that's pretty much what Xavier Worthy has, right, as a member of the Chiefs? He has 8 touchdowns. You know that's pretty much what Xavier Worthy has as a member of the Chiefs? As a guy that we think Xavier Worthy could still...
He's been better than Coleman, though.
Fine,
I'm sorry.
but what I'm saying is, I still believe Xavier Worthy could turn into something, which means I still believe Keon Coleman can too. If he's out on the street, if they either cut him loose or he's available via trade and they'll actually make a trade with the Chiefs, come on down. I'll take more than a shot with him, especially because turns out the organization hated him the entire time. That's not much of a way to succeed. They were ready to throw his ass under the bus the second they were given the opportunity. I'm not saying he hasn't been a disappointment, but I would also say that Xavier Worthy's been a disappointment too. Like, up to the standard so far. I don't think that's unfair. I'm not saying he can't turn into something, but Worthy's been a disappointment so far.
Okay, before I try to figure out this issue that we're having, Mile 32 is about Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield, I think it actually, I can feel what Baker's saying, and I'm kind of here for the pettiness, if you will. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, there was a writer for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution who had tweeted Falcons, Kevin Stefanski had a dumpster fire at quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson failed, which led to a chain reaction of other starters. Baker Mayfield himself quote tweeted it and said, "Failed is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text and call from him after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach." Baker Mayfield, by the way, went 11-5 in 2020. Their first playoff berth since 2002 with Kevin Stefanski. So failed is a little bit of an understatement, and I am all the way here for Baker Mayfield versus the Atlanta Falcons.
I like rivalry, and I like people standing up for themselves. Because a lot of times in this, we just expect them to like an athlete always has to be the person who is above it. I don't have to react. I'm above it. Nah, it's all right to have emotion with it. Like, damn, you threw me out like trash. Like, you're trying to say it was my fault? Seems like I'm having plenty of success. Meanwhile, the Browns are still the Browns. The Browns couldn't even get, dead serious, Mike McDaniel wouldn't even take an interview with him. That man is not actively a head coach. He's agreed to essentially be an offensive coordinator if he doesn't get a better job. He wouldn't pick up the phone for the Cleveland Browns. He was just coaching the Dolphins. It's not like that's some gangbusters organization with unparalleled success. He wouldn't even take their call. The Browns are a joke. A joke.
Well, yeah, we've known that for a while. So everybody approaches that differently. Some people are going to be more petty and handle it the way Baker did, and some others would say, "Hey, look, you've gone on and got a big contract with Tampa. You've had plenty of success. Move on." But I like it as a fan because it will add way more intrigue. Whatever week next year that Baker goes to Atlanta to play against Kevin Stefanski, that adds way more intrigue to that game. Whenever they play, we know they play twice, but whatever week that first game is, yeah, that's the storyline that we now have. That is a little all 32.
I was going to say the numbers on Cody Bellinger are out for those who might have wanted him as a Royal for whatever reason. 5-year deal, $162.5 million. Is that the going rate for like a pretty good?
Money's crazy right now in baseball, man.
I mean, this might explain why Vinny's mad. I mean, you said 29 home runs and 100 RBI is what Bellinger had last year, right? Does that sound shockingly similar to Vinny Pasquantino's numbers? It should. Because he had 30 home runs and 100 RBI last year. So, like, nearly identical numbers. So, Vinny, in his case, and look, he's not a free agent, so he doesn't get to get paid, sadly, for his sake. But, I mean, he knows that his value on the street is 5 years and $162.5 million. Like, Vinny's street value is that, in my opinion, if that's what he's getting. And right now, he's arguing over, he has to fight with the Royals over between $4 and $4.5 million. Just like, that would piss me off. This is also just the way the sport is set up. I'm not saying it's necessarily like one fault versus another. But like if I were the player, I'd be annoyed. That's all.
Up next, we'll get to random question of the day. Talk a little bit more about Mike McDaniel, who looks like he could be in the AFC West next year as an OC. What does it actually mean? And is it as bad as it sounds?
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Danon Hughes here, and it's playoff time, and there's no better place to bet the chase for the championship than Circa Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be. Whether you're betting championship or conference futures, sides, totals, or prop bets for every round, there's no better place to make your bets throughout January all the way to the big game. Circa Sports, with high app limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Escape to your new coastal seafood paradise. Introducing Aqua Pennies, where the freshest seafood, a full-service raw bar, prime steaks and chops, exquisite handcrafted cocktails, and a one-of-a-kind atmosphere come together in perfect harmony. Aqua Pennies is now open in Park Place, Leawood. Don't miss out. Experience something truly different. Tantalize your taste buds and elevate your evening out. To learn more, go to aquapennies.com.
Coast into Aqua Pennies, now open for lunch.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Paramount Plus is the new home of UFC, and we're coming out swinging with UFC 324.
Oh, what a shot!
And 325 on back-to-back weekends. The new era is here.
It's time!
Every fight.
Bam! Let's go!
One subscription.
Oh my goodness!
Pay-per-view just got knocked out.
Let's go!
Back-to-back blockbuster UFC events this month only on Paramount Plus.
Build your team, build it sooner. Need your match on ZipRecruiter.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. All your roles, fill them sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
We'll get to the random question of the day here in about 10 minutes or so. Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Video stream always up and running on YouTube, Twitch, X, Facebook. Different way to take in the show if you haven't ever watched it on your computer or your phone. Make sure you subscribe over on YouTube. You don't miss any of the shows here on your home for KC Sports 96.5 The Fan. And the Jay Southland Tow Service text line is also open, 913-586-7965. Before we get to the random question of the day, the update late last night in the division for the Chiefs is that Mike McDaniel is expected to become the next offensive coordinator of the Chargers, barring him getting hired by the Raiders or the Ravens. And for the Chargers, it's a great hire. It really is. And his run scheme with what they have in the backfield there, and Amari and Hampton, who was hurt for much of the year, Justin Herbert trying to maximize what they're getting out of him. We mentioned Greg Roman, who was fired, and his track record in the postseason. That's not absolving Justin Herbert, but still, Roman with Herbert and Lamar Jackson, his offensive output in playoff games as a play caller was not good. So they move on to Mike McDaniel, who has his own flaws as well, certainly. And as a Chiefs fan,
better than Greg Roman.
I agree. And as a play caller and as a Chiefs fan, I guess, I would prefer Mike McDaniel not be in your division. But the only good thing here is if it works out, well, then he's going to be a head coach in a year. If it's not good, then you don't care. Like, if it doesn't change anything, then you won't care. So nobody should be panicking that Mike McDaniel is the OC for the Chargers. If it works out, fine. It sucks for 1 year and he's gone. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't, and everybody's happy about that as well. Mike McDaniel, I do think, is a terrific play caller. I also think his, and this is good for him, his narrative around him from media and everybody has now kind of jumped the shark a bit to where, like, he's a great OC and probably will be another head coach and deserves an opportunity at some point.
But they're making it sound like he's Bill Walsh.
They're acting
He's
like
he's
the greatest OC, like he's Sean McVay or something.
I think it's because he made Tua look good for a couple years.
And he did. I still have questions as a head coach.
It's funny because Tua was still a top 5 pick. Let's not pretend like Tua is talentless. Right. He's got some issues, and outside of that. And yes, I would like Mike McDaniel. I think he's a good head coaching candidate. I would have loved him here in Kansas City as an OC. I also don't want, and I think what happened last night on social media when I brought this up was, Chiefs don't have to fear anybody. We're afraid of Mike McDaniel. The Chargers always Charger. All this other stuff. Well, I'm not here to tell you that they're going to win the Super Bowl now because Mike McDaniel's their OC, but they got better. And as much as you don't want to admit it, other teams who are around the Chiefs can make good decisions. The Broncos made a good decision drafting Bo Nix, signing Sean Payton. The Chargers made a good decision in bringing in Harbaugh, and I think made another good decision and made themselves better. McDaniel. You know, the other thing with McDaniel is, you want to talk about, this is the same as it's not quite as good as the Bieniemy situation here, but because they're going to get both tackles back, and Justin Herbert's good anyway, he's automatically going to look good no matter what. Their offense wasn't bad last year. It just wasn't good enough. And so if they stay the same, people are still going to give McDaniel a chance. But if they even get slightly better, which they probably will, because their left and right tackle won't have season-ending injuries again, he's going to get a ton of the credit. That's not going Harbaugh's way. He's going to call plays and run the offense for Herbert. And then he'll probably be gone for a year. Now, I'm still annoyed because they got better, and I wanted Mike McDaniel here. And so, yeah, I think it's bad for the Chiefs. Do I think it ends their season and it's all over now? No, I'm not crazy. But I also think Mike McDaniel is a clear upgrade. Clear upgrade from where they were.
For sure.
So, and honestly, I think it says a lot about, like I said earlier, that the Browns, that he wouldn't even take an interview there, and he's not going to just take some bad job, which he shouldn't, because he's clearly desired in the NFL.
Who ends up with the Raiders gig? You know you're going to have Mendoza as your quarterback. You're going to be, basically, you have no choice. That's who you're drafting. So who goes to the Raiders at this point in time? Mike McCarthy is either not going to get a job or he's probably getting the Pittsburgh job. One of the two, it feels like. Brian Daboll either is going to be the OC in Philly or the head coach of the Bills. Matt Nagy, I think at this point, maybe Arizona. Otherwise, he's going to be an OC. Clint Kubiak, I think, is in play for Baltimore and for Vegas.
Here's the truth. I think it might be Davis Webb. It seems insane, but like he interviewed.
For the Raiders?
Yeah. Think about a guy. It's kind of like the Liam Cohen thing. Now, Liam Cohen made him say, fire Trent Baalke before he take the job. Or Dave Canales when he took there are problems with this job, and I know there's problems with this job, but I'm 30. I'm 31. Yeah. If you're Liam Cohen, if you're Dave Canales, I'm young. I can take this risk. People will still think I'm Mike McDaniel. They'll still think I'm a smart offensive mind, and it's the Raiders who suck. And so, if you make me guess, I kind of feel like it's going to be someone like Davis Webb.
Did Shieldhouse interview there?
No.
Or was that only Cleveland, potentially? Or?
Yeah, I don't think it was him.
There's a report out during our show. I just saw this as we were looking up Davis Webb a bit more. There's a report that if Davis Webb becomes a head coach, whether it's in Vegas or anywhere, that Cliff Kingsbury could be his offensive coordinator.
I mean, look, you're Davis Webb. You've never head coached. You get a former head coach to come in and help you run the show. That's a good pairing.
I wouldn't like that if I was Ashton
At
Genty.
least on paper, that's a decent pairing.
People think
Genty, but
nobody knows the
offensive line.
Nobody knows the answer, but kind of what you're saying. There's people in the NFL clearly that think Davis Webb is like the next Sean McVay.
Yeah.
And that's the risk that the Raiders might be willing to take.
Mm-hmm. Well,
why not? Why not at this point?
The last couple of young hires who took the job, even in bad situations. Because, I'll be honest, the Jags did not look like a good situation when Liam Cohen took it. And Dave Canales, we can say he's not a superstar. Dave Canales has done way better with that job than the guy before him. That team's competitive. They fight. They made the playoffs. Dave Canales has done an okay job. If he loses his job next year, Canales, he'll go be an OC for some other team. He'll get another head coaching opportunity.
Probably.
Because he did good enough in Carolina.
Yeah, probably.
And they'll blame the franchise, not him. And so, if I'm Davis Webb, I'd be interested in that. I think Kubiak's going to get I feel like he might get the Ravens job And that's why, like, that
three
one seems like
names,
it's moving so slow.
Which one gets left out? Jesse Minter, Clint Kubiak, Chris Shula, who's the DC in LA with the Rams. Are all three getting head coaching jobs?
How many are still open? 4?
Or 4?
Well, I don't think Nagy.
I don't think Shieldhouse is getting. I don't think Shieldhouse
would the Raiders would the Raiders hiring Shula with Shieldhouse as the OC be a possibility? He just brings.
That'd be intriguing. That'd be really intriguing. The question would be:
maybe.
is the upgrade from passing game coordinator to OC and leaving Sean McVay?
I'll tell you right now,
the best move or not?
I think similar, like the Raiders, they get the #1 overall pick, so something different. Arizona's gonna have to hire somebody who takes the job because they're not getting a job anywhere else. It's gonna be like they're interviewing Campanile, the Jags DC. They're gonna have to hire. They're not getting any of the names you just mentioned, because any of the names you just mentioned, I don't think take that job. Even Davis Webb, I don't think wants the Arizona job. Nagy is the only person I would think left of the coaching cycle guys we mentioned who would still take that job. Outside of that, I don't think they're getting. Like, if I'm Nagy, I'd be begging, like, don't do Udinski, take me. I'll be the Browns head coach.
The team's not bad, but the division is just awful.
The quarterback situation is a problem.
Yeah, you don't know if it's Kyler. You want to move on from him.
But Nagy can't be picky.
I think that
Arizona,
sorry. I'm saying you were saying like Cleveland. I'm saying like he can't be picky, but the QB situation. What's worse? What's in Cleveland with the draft picks and money, or the Cardinals gig? I'm not talking about from the whole roster. I'm talking about the quarterback situation only.
Equally as bad. They're both bad. They're both equally as bad. Because I
mean,
don't want to get
have Kyler. I know they don't want to have him there. I guess,
but he's better than anything Cleveland has.
Yeah, you still have Kyler, I guess.
But I guess I'm looking at it from a roster perspective. Arizona is a teardown. That is a take it down to the studs situation. There's not a redeeming quality about that roster in any way. Maybe you're like, all right, I'll keep Marvin Harrison Jr.
You're saying they feel like the Titans in a way, where it's
a tear
close
down.
to the Titans. Yeah.
The Browns, at least I could say, you know what? That defensive roster, if I could get Kirk Cousins to come start a quarterback here, could I be 8-9? I mean 9-8? If I get viable quarterback play, I got Geno because obviously he's going to get washed out of LA or out of the Raiders. If I got Geno, if I got Kirk Cousins, could I be 8-9 with Myles Garrett? Maybe. At least I got a superstar. At least I got a good defensive roster.
Someone says I'd just rather live in Phoenix with a worse situation than Cleveland with a better one.
Look, if we're factoring in the cities, I don't know, man. I didn't like living in Arizona.
Like if you're making head coach money, you can go anywhere you want in the offseason or whatever it may be. I mean, that shot during the draft though of Cliff with that ridiculous house he was in was absolutely insane.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty nice pad. I doubt he hated his time living there.
Mm-hmm.
Get a little sunnier.
Yeah.
Everybody mentioning like the warm weather job. Is that a thing for head coaches? They desire a warm weather job?
Oh, I feel like if you gave coaches a choice, I'm sure they would like the warm weather.
Most can't be that picky, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Tomlin, if he wants to coach again next year, and that is really a big problem for him, he can say no to,
They did say that was a thing for
him.
He
also was a guy that spent 20 years in cold Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So this idea, like, he wouldn't accept, he may, yes. I think,
yeah.
Who wouldn't want to live near the ocean but have all the benefits of what we have in Kansas City? I would love that. If I got everything else.
If Cleveland had oceanfront property, you're in.
Everything else that we have in Kansas City, but I also had an ocean 20 minutes from me. That would be pretty good with San Diego. With San Diego weather. Then I'm in. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know, man. I was bummed. I was bummed to see that he went in the division. I knew he was going to be an OC for someone. I would have just preferred it. Even in the conference, I would have just preferred it was with Lamar Jackson or anything else. I feel like the division, despite the fact that it was weak for a number of years, has taken some nice steps forward over the last couple of years, and is still way more competition than like guys like Tom Brady or even Peyton Manning in his division. We're going to talk about how easy his division was for all those years. I think their division is salty. I'm not looking for it to get harder. I feel like Mike McDaniel makes it slightly harder.
Random question.
Random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. I will not make it about father figure stuff with Drew, although I still think you should take me up on the offer. Maybe not. Maybe a mentor. Would that make you feel better? Do you already have a mentor?
You already made it weird.
I already made it weird?
Yeah.
Because of the father figure thing?
Yeah, a little bit.
That made it uncomfortable for everybody?
Yeah, just a little, I would say. I will say, because this also came up, the premise of it came up before the show as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still just as awkward every single time you say it.
Should we do another daddy day?
Nope. Nope.
You guys want to do two?
Nope.
Drew, you make a bet with me that if you lose, you have to call me daddy for the entire show? Oh, I hate it. I already hate
Absolutely
it.
not.
It was such
Absolutely
a weird
not.
day.
I will not be like Nick.
Daddy
in that
Day
regard.
Part 2.
Happening.
Actually, we called him Daddy.
Oh,
I don't remember even
and-
what his punishment was going to be. It wasn't that he had to call us that. He had some. Maybe he didn't even have the other end.
That's not till July, man, right? Or mid-June? Mid-June.
Was it around Father's Day?
Oh, Father's Day as well. Like usually like middle of June, like June 15th.
Yeah, I will not be. Yeah. No.
All right, so the question
what's
I
the
have for you
question?
today,
Yeah.
random question today, brought to you by, and again, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, text line 913-586-7965. Gold, I'm going to need you to play a piece of audio as a part of this. I'm going to ask you whether or not you'd like to be a part of this. That's what the random question is going to be about.
Right.
So, Southwest Airlines, as many of us have flown a number of times.
Yeah, we just had a want to get away moment with you. Father's Day.
Had an
Daddy Day.
in-flight moment, and I want to know whether or not you'd want to be a part of it. Listen to this news story.
Southwest Airlines passengers were forced to attend an in-flight wedding, after which they filed a collective complaint against the airline. Last weekend, a couple decided to get married at 30,000 feet. They informed the flight attendants ahead of time, but no notice was given to the other passengers. Whether they wanted to or not, everyone on board became part of the event. Southwest said it is the airline of love and was happy to help make the wedding happen. But during the ceremony, passengers were told they could not use the restroom. Many said they had to hold it in and sit through the entire wedding feeling very uncomfortable. After the couple kissed, the bride threw her bouquet into the aisle. Then a guest book was passed around for people to sign. Many people expressed online that they tried to put themselves in the shoes of the other passengers, saying that being a wedding hostage on a plane was simply insane. Some people disagreed and said any event is better than nothing because flights are boring, but others replied that watching a wedding where, no one is also boring. If you were a normal passenger on that flight, how would you feel?
So that's the question. If you were a normal passenger on that flight, how would you feel, Gold?
No.
The premise of this is kind of crazy.
Huh?
No, I do not want to be.
I got to sit through a ceremony is kind of nuts.
I don't care if it's a 2-hour flight or a 5-hour flight. I don't want to be sitting there. I got my headphones on. I'm watching something on Netflix and be like, oh, by the way, so-and-so wants to get married. Guess you're all part of it. And you have to be. No.
If you don't mind, sign the guest book.
No.
I wouldn't mind signing the guest book. Actually, I'd write
Why
a nice
is this
message in
even
there,
like, that should be a violation of like terms of
I
your,
said they filed
your
a complaint.
ticket. Yeah. I want my money back.
I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah. I think that's as far as I would go with it. Is I didn't sign up for this, but I wouldn't. I don't know if it's. I don't think it would be that big of a deal. I would say as long as I'm able to keep my headphones in. Like if you're making me take my headphones off, so I'm not listening to my music anymore. That would be really awkward. Where if you're actually making like everybody's headphones off, put everything in your compartment, you can't do anything. We're here for a wedding ceremony.
They made it sound like that.
Would be the extent I think.
They did make it sound like that, but they did say you couldn't use the restroom, which is kind of crazy.
That is weird.
That does seem like a violation. I got to be honest. Would you? So here's the thing. You're in the spot, Gold. You're sitting there. I mean, you got to admit, you're taking your headphones off for a second, aren't you? Out of morbid curiosity.
Sure,
I would
You're
think
at least
so.
like, what the hell's going on here? Could you write something? Would it be out of line, knowing that it's their wedding day? Would it be out of line to write something in their wedding book like, "I didn't agree to come to this. I am not sure."
I
why
wouldn't
signed
write
it."
it. I wouldn't write that.
Don't sign it.
Yeah, don't sign it. But again, if this was like a 5 or 10 minute thing, then I don't care. I really don't. Like if you told me it was 10 minutes during the flight, I actually would smile and laugh, whatever, and move on. If it was an hour or something, that's when it's absurd. 10 minutes,
you can't
whatever.
Who the heck was officiating it? Was it somebody? Was another
it was
another person on the flight, or was it a flight attendant?
Didn't say, but that's the other part. Like
That's true.
I'll say this: you better keep it. Yeah, Gold's right though. You got to keep it short. Nope, you shouldn't have thrown the bouquet. I don't want to watch you take the garter off. You can't do first dances. Whatever things you're trying to incorporate in this, that's out.
Yeah, I
you
agree.
can say I do in the world's shortest in-air ceremony. You can ask me if I'm willing to sign a guest book. The end. End of list. No other regular wedding stuff. We're not doing a dollar dance
Do you
either.
think though,
no
like,
regular wedding stuff? Okay.
Do you think anybody on like the flight enjoyed it?
There's a greater chance that it does result in some pleasure. Not on an airplane.
No.
I think everybody was a little irritated. I would. This is
And
the
then
thing.
you got to worry about the Mile High Club situation.
I guess
Trying to consummate the wedding.
From my standpoint, if I'm able to keep my headphones on for the whole thing, I don't care. You knock yourself out. Congratulations. I'll sign the book, say congratulations, and that'll be it. As long as I can keep my headphones in, that's fine. But if you're the prohibiting people from going to the restroom or to the laboratory, I think is kind of
says,
real mixed bag.
Was it an open bar?
Yeah, that's a fair question.
Doubtful.
I do think you got to buy everyone around. I think if you do that,
that's expensive all of a sudden.
I think that's $5. What for a beer on the Southwest flight? So $5
times what? 100.
There's 100 people on there.
Well, that's something you got to factor into your wedding. Sorry, try to do it cheap. $500 for a wedding party doesn't seem all that bad.
There should be something given to.
You're trying to keep people happy, and everybody's not going to take the cocktail anyway. So you got to do it. Someone 816 says I'd make it my life's work to ruin that marriage.
Someone's like, what state is this in? You're flying over multiple states. How does that work?
I don't know. Over on YouTube, they said I'd sign the guest book, say I look forward to your divorce on a Delta flight.
Jeez,
instead of changing it over on there. Look,
I think
text line might be
that
right.
message
Under 15 minutes, fine. Otherwise, no. I think if it's short, it's just like okay, I saw a silly thing, so what? Right? It didn't really negatively impact it. Other than if I really needed to go to the restroom, you're telling me I can't go now. That seems a little loose.
Someone said a wedding cake instead of peanuts. Hey, I'm all down for cake. I will say this, Cody. Can you imagine? You're on this flight. You land.
I would be so confused.
You're on the flight. You land. All right, everybody, let's go head to the reception area in Atlanta Airport. Whatever it is.
Like we'll go to the Delta Sky Club.
Yes.
Drinks on me.
That would be hilarious.
I mean, did you guys meet on a plane? Did you meet on a Southwest flight? Is there like a cute reason at least?
Maybe they just said forget
why
it.
you
Let's
decided
just
to do it this
now.
way? Would you ever, Drew? You guys were traditional wedding. You weren't destination, right?
Yeah. There's no chance ever that we would do it in the middle
I
of
think Alex's family would
flight.
kill him if he tried to do a destination wedding. I think they'd kill him.
You think?
I think your family would be. I think the conversation of you walking into, knowing you well enough and your family well enough now over the years, I think if you tried to walk into your parents' house and you said, "Hey, the wife and I are thinking about a destination wedding. We're not going to do the regular." They'd be like, "What? What's that?" It seems to me that they
I don't know.
Mostly because no one so far in your family has done.
Oh well,
that
that's true.
So like
yeah.
you would be like bucking what has been a long-standing Gold family tradition. We do regular weddings in this family.
I think most people do.
Once somebody's
though,
broken the seal a little bit, I think it's easier to kind of get away with it.
You're saying that whoever gets married in this family post airplane wedding, you can go wherever you want to essentially, and it's totally fine because it's not an airplane at least.
Man, I don't know. Has anybody ever seen I've never even seen a live proposal. You guys ever seen a proposal? Other than somebody you knew, I guess.
No, like a stranger? No.
I don't.
Other than a sporting event, which is a whole other topic.
And not that I can think of.
I guess at a sporting event.
You are anti-sporting event proposal. I don't care for them. What does it matter to me? It impacts me for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
That's like the airline one. Doesn't mean it has to be something you do.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't take me, that's the thing. If it doesn't take me away from, like, if they made me take my headphones off, that's where I would be like, really, this is dumb. But if you don't, it's like the proposal thing, I suppose. Like, if it's not bothering my space and my enjoyment of whatever I'm doing, then yeah, it's fine.
Someone says you can charter a plane to do your wedding for less somewhere else than an actual wedding. I mean, I will say part of it was when we decided to do destination. It was we were sitting in bed and we were continuing to try to narrow down the guest book, and her family's so big. My family's not even my side wasn't even necessarily the issue. Her family is so big. She has so many aunts and uncles. Her mom is one of 11. So there's a million cousins, and we were trying to. I'm like, this sucks. Looking at the price tags at caterers, this is the worst. Let's just go somewhere. And then we're like, what are places to let us get married and not have to take up residency for 2 weeks? And we're like, we found a spot that worked. All right, we're out. We're leaving.
Someone texted in 913-586-7965, said their parents got married on a hot air balloon in Missouri. Have you ever been on a hot air balloon, period? Let alone on a...
only a blimp.
Yeah, just a blimp. That's right.
That's it.
Hot air balloon, at least you're not
I feel like you don't see the hot air balloons
guess.
as much as you... as a kid, I feel like I saw them all the time. I don't feel like I see them anymore. Maybe it's because there's just been more growth out where I live, and so things have moved further south, and therefore the hot air balloons have had to move further out of the area.
Somebody has one and wants to take me up on one. I'll add it to my ways I've traveled.
Cody wants to go...
Plane, train, car, bus, blimp.
Cody wants
I'd like to add hot air balloon to that.
This Saturday when it's negative 13 wind chill.
Can you even take a hot air balloon up when it's that cold?
Probably not.
Feels like there's a
Probably
ratio of something I don't like.
If you thought about this sort of a situation, you're in a hot air balloon, you're just going up in a hot air balloon. All right, guys, let's get ready. Everybody, you're a part of a wedding, and everybody's just in the hot air balloon.
Proposals have happened on hot air balloons.
That would be crazy.
Proposals have happened
But then
on
you
hot
gotta
air
be the
balloons.
only people going up.
Well, yeah. Proposals
things are
have
like
definitely
8 people. You can't.
But you've heard of that. I mean, that's actually, I won't say common, but it's certainly not a
You're
strange
getting down
thing.
on one knee and kicking the person's leg behind you to find space. Yeah.
Now, this is what happens in the random question. Now I'm looking up, can a hot air balloon fly at any temperature? Like, that even matters. I don't even know that matters. Hot air balloons fly by heating the inside. Hot air
Yes.
the
Yep.
outside.
Thank you. Yep. Yep.
Cold weather advantage. Cooler outside temperatures mean the burner doesn't have to work as hard to achieve the necessary temperature difference, making flights more
So
efficient.
it's easier.
And stable.
So if you're willing to be frozen,
It's actually better.
you know how cold
Very
you would
hot
be.
conditions
You know how
make it
cold
harder.
you would be up there on a hot air balloon when it's 5 degrees outside.
Someone's asking if they can get married during Fan Club Friday here at the station.
Sure.
Yes. Yep. You can get married. We have had a wedding on the station before with the morning show.
I'll get one of us will get ordained. You can choose.
Yeah,
or
go
both
online
of
real
us, we can
quick.
both do
Go
it.
online real quick. Yep.
If you get married during fan club, you have to allow us to choose what things are said during the ceremony, though. Like, we get to choose the part of the ceremony. So if Gold wants you to smash a glass, you gotta smash a glass. We get to choose the denomination, all of it. We get freedom. It'll probably be a mix. We'll get
We'll have to see if we can
different
fit you in
cultures.
on their schedule. You know, we'll have to see if we can. We've got a lot of weddings booked coming up during Fan Club Friday. We'll have to see.
I still, someone says they see South hot air balloons all the time.
I used to see them more. Yeah, and that's where I live in that same part of town. But I don't hear them as much or see them as much as I feel like as a kid. I don't know. That's the random question of the day. Thank you for
brought
that.
to you by Kansas City Urology Care. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it feels like if it was short enough, I probably wouldn't pick a fit over, throw a fit over it. But I get the idea. It is. We're going to talk about it in the next segment. The weather this weekend? I almost never look ahead, and you made me.
You ready? You ready for this?
We're going to talk about it in the next.
We will.
But it's looking pretty bleak. Man.
Don't forget, we've got the Chiefs off-season show coming up on Tuesday, February 10th. We're going to have everybody in studio. So we'll have Bob, Dusty, C-Dot, and Cody and I all hanging out from 9 a.m. to 11 on Tuesday, February 10th. It is the Chiefs off-season show. Some of the things that we have already discussed. Also, we'll know by then for sure what the full staff is going to look like. We'll have a better idea, perhaps, on Travis Kelce's future, how that impacts things, free agency, draft, you name it. That'll be coming up in a couple weeks.
I'm looking forward
Chiefs
to it.
off-season show.
Look, in fairness, it is their most interesting offseason in a little while. Now, in weirdness, like after you win back-to-back Super Bowls and you try to go for 3, that's inherently an interesting offseason because you're like, can you put the pieces together to actually get there again? But because this is the first time in the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes era that we've actually had them overcome real problems. They won 6 games. They were awful this year. They're picking in the top 10 in the draft. They got real things to sort out. And it's already been interesting to start because they've made changes to the coaching staff that we talked about earlier. They have to find out whether or not their All-Pro Hall of Fame tight end Travis Kelce is going to retire, if their other wide receivers are going to get better, like if Chris Jones still got enough juice for a couple more years. There are a lot of big questions. So when everybody gets in studio, we'll talk about those things. Maybe they got some different opinions than you and I. I feel like universally the station did not like the Eric Bieniemy hiring.
I don't know. I know what Carrington's thought was. I don't know what. I honestly don't know
what the morning
what
show, that's
Bob
fair.
and Dusty thought about it, or whatever.
Carrington did not like it.
I
You
knew
did
that.
not like
Yep.
it. I did not like it. Yeah, you're right. I didn't know. I'm not as sure about Bob and Dusty. They're on at 6:30 in the morning. My kid was making me do trick shots at 6:45 in the morning. Dead serious. He's like, I want to do a harder trick shot. I'm like, it's too early. If anybody's got any suggestions, like a book or something, I'll have to check something out. I need these pre-planned. I can't be coming up with them on the spot all the time.
Just teach them how to do the tile or whatever. You know, you can take care of it. You can take care of 2 things at once. You can have that and be the
be a father figure. Yeah.
To my own kid.
Mm-hmm. Up next, let's talk about.
I can't get it. I can't get it.
Let's discuss what Robert Kraft had to say about the NFL, something that he basically is almost guaranteeing they're going to be pushing for. Plus, a little college basketball update based off of all 3 locals in action last night.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Guys and ladies, it's time to get real about your health, and obviously just around the new year, I know some of you are already looking at that. Synergen X and Low T Center. For a limited time, the men's TRT test is free, and ladies can take $200 off the women's hormone test over at Synergen X and Low T Center. Get healthy together, honestly. Say no to diet trends, questionable online treatments, and deceptive prices from other places, and start looking to feel your best. Synergen X and Low T Center are the leading experts. Meet with a real provider. You can choose in-person appointments or online appointments with their new mobile app. It's a good time to get healthy. If you've been feeling like your workout's not the same, low energy, all those things can be signs of low T, why not figure it out over at Synergen X? Everyone I know goes there. You can as well. Walk in or book an appointment at getmyhealthfix.com. That's getmyhealthfix.com.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Enter now at overheaddoorkc.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorkc.com.
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la. My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/now. That's ethos.com/now.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hi there, I'm Charlie. And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC. If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help. Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting. Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team. He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days. He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises. Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision. Want to talk to him? Call 816-330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
NFL playoffs, let's go. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and it makes every moment feel bigger. In the postseason, the game shifts fast, and with DraftKings live betting options, you can stay right in the moment. Plus, DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash. With DraftKings, you're covered through the entire half. Why bet player props anywhere else? New customers, here's your shot. Bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code 965. That's code 965 to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Additional terms at dkng.com/audio. Limited time offer.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood Prediction Markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood Prediction Markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for behind-the-scenes videos like MVP Monday, Chiefs Take Tuesday, and Best Bets. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour. Cody and Gold. I saw something during the break. I'm very happy about this. I feel like there's plenty of you listening that can relate to this. It is an all-timer. And I don't want to say it yet. I'll find. I think there's at least one of us on the show that have never seen a single one of these. Netflix just announced that the James Bond film collection from 1960 to Dr. No all the way up to 2021. So not the...
How many movies is that?
Is now on Netflix.
30?
Netflix is going to have the entire Bond collection up until that time frame. 25 films, 7 decades.
Pretty close.
Now, that's not every single Bond movie, but it's just about every single one.
I haven't seen one since Skyfall. How about the last two?
What was the name of the last
Spectre,
one?
I think.
Saw it.
And No Time to Die?
No, that's 2021.
Okay. I didn't see that one. Skyfall was the last one I remember seeing. I thought Quantum of Solace kind of stunk.
Agreed on that one.
I like Skyfall.
I thought Daniel Craig was terrific. No Time to Die was right. Sorry, Cody, you're right. No Time to Die was the last one, so I take that back. We are due for another Bond movie here.
But they're going to do a new Bond, right?
And it'll be a new Bond. Yeah, Daniel Craig is done. And so I guess that is every Bond movie then. That would be every Bond because it goes up to No Time to Die. So
I haven't seen some of the old ones. I haven't seen like everyone by George Lazenby or Roger Moore. Or
that means I actually have not seen No Time to Die, maybe?
You didn't catch it?
I'm trying to remember.
You love Bond movies.
I know. I'm trying to remember the plot on this one. I'm reading this.
Wait, so you're insinuating that I'm the one that hasn't seen any of these movies?
There's no way you've seen any Bond movie ever.
I think you said you've never seen any Bond in your...
I know. I was laying it up to say you are correct. I have not seen a single
favorite one.
Skyfall is awesome.
Skyfall is great. I still think GoldenEye with Pierce Brosnan was great, and then the older ones, the two I think that stood out. This one does not list. Does this not list? Oh, there it is. Goldfinger with Sean Connery is an all-timer. The worst one of the bunch, man.
The worst Bond?
Of these,
it's probably just one I didn't watch. I don't know, like Lazenby or something. I didn't watch them all. I don't feel like I can give a definitive ranking of it.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service would probably be the worst one.
Based on this?
Yeah. And that was George Lazenby.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen it. My issue sometimes, like when I watch these, I like to gamble, I like to play cards and stuff. Every time they show like cards in a movie, they always make it seem like Bond got outplayed, and it's just like everyone's got like a royal flush versus a straight flush. Like that, you just lose your money. There's nothing to do with like the guy didn't get James Bond and outplay him and figure it all out. Everyone had massive hands. And it's a huge cooler. And they just like got unlucky. I don't like the way they portray poker in movies. It drives me crazy.
The only Bond that I know is Daniel Craig. I didn't I guess
you've never seen any of them with Pierce Brosnan or
I haven't
Sean
seen
Connery?
I haven't
you've never
seen any of them.
sorry.
I haven't seen any of them. But the most recognizable one to me is Daniel Craig's.
Drew, have you seen any of the most famous movie series of all time?
So have you seen it? And you looked it up. I might have seen a couple of them.
Have you seen a Back to the Future?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was worried. Like immediately, I just figured,
I mean, we can do this another day, but like out of the top 250 movies according to IMDb, number one, you guys care to guess?
Godfather.
Close. Shawshank Redemption. That's a classic.
Shawshank Redemption's a great movie.
You have seen it.
Yeah.
Godfather, just the original, not just the first Godfather.
Yes. I mean, I don't have to answer yes to some of these.
Yeah.
Drew is not.
I haven't seen any of the Godfathers.
And you've seen The Dark Knight?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's on there. Angry Men, I actually haven't. 12 Angry Men, I have not seen. That's from the 50s.
I had to watch
that
in film class.
I don't really have much desire to go back and watch that one. I
actually
guess it's
acted
number
in
5.
that play.
Really? Mm-hmm. Huh. Lord of the Rings, I just don't have much interest in those. Those 2 of them are in the top 10. Pulp Fiction, I'm assuming you've seen that.
I haven't seen a single Quentin Tarantino film that I know of, at least. I have not seen Pulp Fiction.
That was number 9. And then The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966 movie.
Classic Western.
And then Forrest Gump is also towards the top.
Have you seen Forrest Gump?
I don't know about the whole thing front to back. I've seen parts of it.
It's tough. It's like asking me if I've seen movies from the 70s,
Yeah, I've seen parts of Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump came out when I was 3. You acted like that.
Yeah, I know. we can make it part of the father figure stuff. We can have movie night.
Yeah, good. And then last one, Goodfellas, number 17 on the list, 1990 movie, one of my favorite. Honestly, it truly might be the answer to me, my favorite movie of all time. That and Shawshank.
Shawshank Redemption, somebody said bombed at the box office. It didn't do well when it first came out. Really?
I don't know the backstory there, but
yeah, it didn't do well.
Interesting.
But that's also like that happens sometimes.
Andy Dufresne.
It's just an all-time movie.
It is. Yeah. Anyway.
I watch it anytime it's on like regular
Totally.
cable and there's nothing else on. Still. Know what's happening and you're like, yeah, why not? Let's get over to the NFL side. Then we're going to talk some weather here.
Yeah, let's hear about Robert Kraft's thoughts. He was on with 98.5, the Sports Hub in Boston, discussing what owners are pushing for. And some of these are not new ideas, but it just tells you they're going to find a way to get this done.
I want to tell you guys, though, we're going to push like the Dickens now to make international more important with us. Every team will go to 18-2, and eliminate one of the preseason games. And every team every year will play one game overseas. And part of the reason is so we can continue to grow the cap and keep our labor happy, because we're sort of getting near the top here, with the coverage. 93 of the top 100 programs on television are NFL games. Right. Think about that. It's really amazing. And you look at the size of our crowds versus the other sports, and it's really, and we had that Amazon game on Thursday a couple of weeks ago. 31 million people streamed. And so as long as we can keep growing revenue, we can keep long-term labor peace.
Look, I will say, it strikes me more this time than even the first or second time I heard it. I don't like the way he says our labor, like it's a screwdriver at his factory. He is not talking about the NFL players like they're people in that clip. He is talking about them like they're a commodity, and that feels like a weird way to go into it, but I told you, I don't need 18 games. Their obsession with this, like, we're not a big enough business, how do we get even bigger? They're huge business. Trillions of dollars probably moved in and out of the NFL every year. I mean, Roger Goodell makes $100 million a year, whatever the hell he makes now. I mean, it's already big business. You don't have to squeeze his 18th game. You can get international without adding a game.
There's no doubt it's all greed. I mean, I think clearly. And if you want the salary cap to keep going up, they have to find new revenue streams. And international market is that. I just think they got to be careful with how many games becomes too many for the casual fan and to where the product truly is suffering. It's one thing we talk about officiating. To me, actually, I think is one of the biggest issues in the entire league right now. And we don't have to get into the topic about full-time officials again and everything, but that to me is what is hurting the product the most right now. Yes, injuries are happening. They've always happened. People have done studies. Is there a slight increase? Yes. Would adding another game to that potentially increase it? Sure, because it's another game where you're putting your body on the line. I think for the fan, though, is 8. We already feel like we got enough now, but is 18 the max they're willing to go, or how much are they going to And 7-8 years from now, are they going to try to get to 19 games? I hope not, because there is a number at some point where not only does the product stink, but the ratings would say we're not, though, and that's where they get greedy, because the ratings would tell them we actually haven't. More people are watching than ever. All this kind of stuff.
I think they hit a health thing where they're just not thinking it through.
Yeah,
and that the quality of the product will get kneecapped the further and further they go down this road. And I don't think that they're thinking about the long-term consequences of, but here's another thing you need in sports. You need to like the people who are playing the sport. And college is already getting these guys to the pros later. Everybody knows that, right? We've all seen the NIL reports. How many underclassmen enter the draft now versus just 4 years ago before NIL? So they're already getting to the league later with more miles on their body. And now you've shortened their time frame. You play 5 years in the NFL, you've played an additional third of the season. Now, from 5 years ago, you're playing an additional 2 games.
Yep.
You're playing an additional 10 games every 5 years than you were 5 years ago.
Not to mention the extension of the college football playoff and potential expansion.
And so more games there. So you might play over 7 years. Let's say you stay your junior and senior year you weren't on before, and now you're going to play these additional 2 games you did 5 years ago. You're talking about 25 additional games on your body before you hit age 30. So if the average lifespan of a really good NFL player is 5 to 7 years in a league, is it 4 to 6? Is it 3 to 5? Are you going to know any of these players' names? Or are you going to have to keep turning it over? And by the way, the more you turn it over, that means more players who weren't playing or shouldn't play, who aren't as good, the quality suffers. I just don't see a need for this. 17 is actually kind of perfect for the international schedule. 8 home, 8 away, 1 international game every year. Why not? What are we doing? It's already tailor-made. You don't need the built-in second bye.
Yeah, it's all money. Because, of course, the answer, they didn't need to add Thursday Night Football either, but they did that a very long time ago. I'm with you. I'm not disagreeing on, if they just went back to even where we were at 5 or 10 years ago with the TV schedule and all that, I'd be fine. But they view it as, and it is, a business. And so far, to this point, the consumer is telling them that they are still fine with the additional timing of everything and more games, and they're watching more than ever and all that. The international part, we knew that was coming. I just want to know, how are they going to tweak the schedule? Are we going to get to 2 bye weeks then, if that's what's going to happen? We're going to get 18 games, 2 bye weeks, and they're going to have to do that for international.
If that, then they should do 1 preseason game. Otherwise, what are we looking at here? A late February Super Bowl?
If we're being honest,
I'm serious. Is late February?
It'll be the Sunday before President's Day.
College football playoffs shoved to this time next year, the 22nd, 21st. That's when the college football final is over the next couple of years. We're getting late.
Yeah.
Do we even need preseason games?
As a consumer,
I know that
no.
In professional sports they have them, but in college football, you just strap up the helmet and you go straight at it.
They have preseason too, dude. They got rummies. They scheduled Georgia Southern. They got rummies. They have preseason. They just don't call it that.
I think what you're saying though, as a fan, I don't need preseason. I don't know what fan thinks they need preseason, but it's weird. We've had this discussion. You talk to any coach in the league, and they still consider it to be very valuable. They do. I don't think we need even 2 preseason games. Just have 1. But you get into we've had. When we're up in St. Joe, we've asked a couple players where they've come by our tent when we're up there, preseason, and they, not the veterans, but the younger guys, they know that's their opportunity to earn that special team spot.
Yeah,
whatever. But as a fan, I don't need any preseason.
Get rid of it. Yeah. And look, they're already making most of those decisions anyway. I think most teams are lying to you if they make those really close decisions. They maybe 1 decision a year, 2 decisions a year are decided in a preseason game versus what they see at camp. I'm serious. It is a small number. You'll figure it out. Sorry that your job got slightly harder. These players have to physically throw their bodies around. I'm sorry you had to think with your brain harder. I don't feel bad for coaches or GMs or that staff.
In addition to just the Super Bowl not happening until the 16th, some of you on the text line were saying, do they start the season earlier? They could, but also if the Pro Bowl doesn't really exist anymore, the Pro Bowl games are happening the week of the Super Bowl now. So get rid of that. I know they want they want the build up, but you could either get rid of that build up week, although they really like that, or you move the season up 1 week.
If you're getting rid of preseason game number 2, though, move it up. Move it up.
Yeah, they don't want to have it on Labor Day weekend, I think is probably part of it. But
I mean, it's the NFL. People are going to watch.
I would.
I understand, but people will watch.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I think it was on McAfee. I saw in here they were showing the timeline of how many games, when there was a change of games, and how long the period of time there was. And I think it was one of the longest periods of time, of course, was 16. It was 20 it was 1978, I think is what it said when they moved to 16 games, and all of that time up until they just recently moved it here to 17. It feels like them already trying to make a jump it feels money hungry, which again, that is what it's about. But isn't that I don't think it'll get to this point necessarily because there's more control, but a lot of people are complaining about college football for some of the reasons of it just being a money-hungry sport, and I wonder if in different ways we would get the same thing from the NFL where it just becomes oversaturated and maybe it's the player talent level dissipates a little bit or whatever the case is, but I wonder if there's ways that them becoming too money-hungry actually causes them more problems for just going after whatever can draw more eyeballs and make more money.
Yeah, it's what we were saying a couple minutes ago as well. I'm with you that what's the number? I don't have the answer to it. They don't have the answer to it yet. Is it 18 games where it becomes too much and fans check out? Or is it fast forward 15 years from now, we're sitting at 20 games and we're, that's the number that actually is the part that ruins the sport. There is a number. I don't know what the number is.
I think part of it, though, too, is like to your point, though, Cody, is that we become so addicted to football that I think we're going to watch. Like they know they have us. That I don't know if I think there is a number in a way, but I don't know if there. I think you can also argue, is there actually a number? Because we're so addicted to football that if it's on and it matters, we'll watch. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. If there's a team for the Chiefs, if the Chiefs are playing, I'm watching the game. It doesn't matter how bad the product is compared to what it was 20 years ago or whatnot.
I think they're blinded by the number of games, and they're not thinking about it for how long the season takes too. So for baseball, part of the reason it feels like the season is so long is it's 180-ish days, right? 190-ish days total. It eats up 3/4 of 60% of a calendar. The second you move the season up a week, move it back a week, all that, I mean, you're starting to border on the same amount of time. And we complain those other seasons are too long. And I understand that some of that is because there's 160 of the games, but in the NFL, it's every week anyway, and we see the games. While I know the Chiefs only play 17 games, I see them on Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. I see them all those days anyway. So whether the team themselves are playing that way, it starts to feel like a 162-game schedule just based on the way they're squeezing these games in anyway. That's all. How long before they add in Friday?
Right.
Too?
Well, we already have a Friday. We have that opening Friday of the season now.
Every week.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll get to every week, but certainly we get the Friday now on the opening week of the season. This will not be the last time we talk about what the NFL is looking forward to in the future. I do want to point out something we got to yesterday. There was the initial social media reporting. There's now another outlet. This is from U.S. Men's National Team Only, USMT Only. It's an independent soccer site, part of Men in Blazers that has 200,000 followers on social media. They just tweeted out kind of what we heard yesterday, which is Argentina, England, and the Netherlands are expected to set up World Cup base camps in Kansas City. Argentina, they're saying, set to train at Compass Mineral National Performance Center. That's Sporting Kansas City's training home. England, according to this, is set to train at Swope Soccer Village in Kansas City, Missouri, which used to be the Sporting Kansas City training facility. And then the Netherlands are set to train at Kansas City Currents facility in Riverside. That still does not mention the fourth, which is Lawrence. But those are the three. They're saying those are the three countries that are going to those sites. And then
I think it was Algeria is what I saw.
And that would be Lawrence. That'd be Lawrence. Yeah, Algeria maybe says Lawrence.
I think it's what I saw. Yep. And so, look, it's great for the city. It really is.
Yeah.
Let's hope that means a bunch of fans choose to stay here. But that's a lot of different countries choosing to make Kansas City their home base, which is neat in its own right. And again, you and I probably will not be alive the next time the World Cup comes, if it ever comes to Kansas City, right? Next time it's in the U.S., maybe we're alive. And even then, they're probably going to choose some other cities to send it to, not just go back to Kansas City. Really great chance, really great opportunity to showcase the city, all that other stuff. And thankful for all the stuff that led to it, I guess. Supporting Kansas City, the KC Current, the World Cup watch parties down in Power and Light, they all bear some responsibility in making Kansas City known for soccer. So it's really cool that we get an opportunity to do that.
At least they're not playing this weekend. Yeah.
So I had not looked up the weather, admittedly, because as we've discussed on the show, I'm not really good at it. I don't check the weather very often.
I was warning you.
You said it's going to be awful.
Oh, yeah.
Awful this weekend.
Yeah, the latest I saw, Nick Bender over at Channel 9, he tweeted out earlier today that once wind chill temperatures drop below zero on Thursday night, they will not go above zero until Sunday afternoon. So, for example, tomorrow at 6 a.m., they're saying at Channel 9, -4 in Kansas City for a wind chill at 6 a.m. Friday at 3 o'clock, 8 -8, that is.
That's
wind
when
chill.
we're leaving the show.
Saturday at 6 a.m., -16 wind chill in Kansas City. Even colder in other parts of the metro. Wind chills Saturday at 3 in the afternoon, still -5. So it's just going to be a miserable
Is it
weekend.
supposed to snow too?
I think so, but I think the estimations are all over the place for that. Way worse in Oklahoma and stuff in south of here.
Yeah, it seems like south of here they're going to get it. Okay, so I just won't go outside for the weekend. I mean, problem solved. Just go to the grocery store tonight. Never leave the house. Drip your faucets.
At least we're not up in the northern plains. You see what's happening there? This is real. I did not know this was a thing. Exploding trees are possible.
That's not here?
On Friday and Saturday in the northern plains. Forecast 20 degrees below zero. Yeah, it's
that's a thing, Drew. Didn't you live in like one of the coldest states in this country?
North Dakota, yep.
Were there exploding trees?
I don't remember.
It's
ever
basically
hearing about
like, remember we heard
exploding
about
trees?
the falling iguanas in Florida or whatever when it got really cold? Remember that story from a year or two ago? The falling iguanas,
Yeah,
they would fall out of the trees. Same concept, but the tree itself is exploding.
Oh man, I'm watching it.
It's like the northern version.
It just looks like
of,
the top half of it falls off essentially.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite. Now
It sounds like
sound on.
somebody said it sounds like an explosion. I've never seen this in person. I didn't know it was a thing until
Is it weird to
this
kind of
morning.
want to see it?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see it.
I don't want a tree falling. I do not want to rebuild my fence for a third time. I need a tree desperately not to go down on my fence again.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to rebuild the fence, portion of the fence twice.
Someone said
not want to do it a third time.
Someone from the 785 said it's bad when they use Gatorade flavors to describe the weather. Arctic blitz, glacier freeze.
The way that you guys are talking about, I'm already looking forward to next Monday. I'm looking forward to being back at work next week on Monday because I know it's going to be a little bit warmer.
Yeah, 20s.
Please.
I think.
Somebody says HVAC guy here about to make some money.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Now you're gonna have to be working in this cold weather, but you're right. Yeah, you're about to make some good money.
Drip your faucets. Wrap the pipes if you need to. Just try to keep your stuff from getting frozen.
Oh yeah, drip the faucets. For
Text
sure.
from one of our good friends that listens to the show, Eric. He just texted me directly and said, "I'm from North Dakota. Yes, trees do explode."
I kind of want to see it.
I don't remember hearing anything, but I wasn't there too particularly long. But I
man.
It was definitely cold. It gets to -40 wind chill, and at some point, cold is just cold.
Did you have a kick-ass coat? I mean, you got to have like
Yes,
I
there's
live
a
at
very
the
good coat.
Arctic coat.
Someone said,
Very
"Cody,
good
maybe
coat.
you can show Drew how to shovel or something." I mean, Papa.
He said he already knows how to.
I
Drip
do
a
know
pipe.
how to shovel snow.
Did you know how to? Do you know you're supposed to drip your pipes? You
Yes.
knew that? Please, Papa.
I knew about the drip in the faucet and everything like that. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
My parents told me that. Yeah.
He knows that. Come on.
Our pipes as kids froze all the.
Some houses are more prone to it, yeah, depending on the build.
Well, and like it was one of the main lines was like a water pipe, like on the exterior of the wall. It was built in the 50s. It was probably never insulated correctly. So I mean, I'm sure that it was like some of our own doing.
Starting the car up is not going to be fun on probably Friday
Remote
morning.
start,
I suppose.
man. That's the one,
I don't have that anymore.
I will say
unfortunately.
the remote start, the heated seats. I did my video, I think, last week on that for Sean Mission Ford, the F-150 I'm driving, and the
Yeah,
remote start is the best. Oh, it's the best.
Maybe you know what? That'd be a nice. Maybe it's what you asked for Valentine's Day. We talked about that earlier, Drew.
Maybe
See,
Drew will have
Brio-
time to watch Forrest Gump this weekend.
Maybe
I won't be watching Forrest Gump.
that's how you're gonna spend time.
No, I don't. Look, I'm not a movie person, so I don't. Like if something pops up, especially on, I have to go out of my way to watch a movie. If it's on TV and I'm just scrolling, I'm not stopping and watching movies. I don't do that.
From the 816, someone texts in, city public works employee here. We're getting all trucks prepared, salting, brining the roads in preparation. Snow amount to be determined.
But they're gonna prepare versus the last time when they didn't do any.
Just
not,
wait.
Not your fault.
Just wait.
The
You're
last
gonna
time it
have-
snowed, they didn't do jack.
Agreed.
They didn't treat the roads, and then they were terrible. So I'm glad it sounds like this guy's, and I'm sure it's way above his head.
Just wait. Tonight, you're going to get a live shot on local TV in front of the salt barn or whatever it is. Oh, man, we're going to get that. We're going to get the B-roll of the low angle of the truck pulling out of the parking lot from the salt. Oh, yeah, we're getting all that tonight on local television. Just wait.
Do you like that? You watch local news for when the weather?
For the weather, I do. Yeah, that's about the only time. Sorry to our friends in local television.
Which we have many.
Yeah.
Sorry, we don't watch you all the time. You
For
watch some
weather,
sports?
it's
Watch our guy.
for weather, I think it's great, especially during severe weather. Shout out to Brian Busby.
Keep an eye out for exploding trees
Yeah.
if you're in the north, or I guess bitter.
In the north, as in north,
like
as in
Minnesota.
not in this area.
Minnesota.
Yeah, not like Platte City, like a different state. southern Iowa and northern, all of Minnesota.
Up next, we'll get to what's trending. And then earlier today, Ross Tucker joined us, our Odyssey NFL insider. We asked him about the drama in Buffalo today with their owners' comments about on Keon Coleman, what he expects for championship weekend as well.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
At Casey's, when someone asked for a cup of coffee that wouldn't put them in debt, but still had freshly ground beans, rich flavor, and a price that starts with a 9 and ends with a D9 cents, we were too nice to say no. Now get a small coffee, just 99 cents. Limited time only. See store for details.
Don't let winter catch you off guard. Keep your family cozy with a $69 heating system tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. We have pros available 7 days a week to keep your system running at peak efficiency, helping prevent costly breakdowns, lower energy bills, and keep your home warm all winter long. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
What is it that makes the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid an incredible SUV? Is it the spacious interior that's comfy for the whole crew? Or the capability to go off-road? Maybe it's up to 600 plus miles of range. What if it's all of that and more? What is it then? The all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. So much more than just another SUV. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, it's Alex Gold, and coming up on Tuesday, February 10th, everyone from the station will be hosting the Chiefs off-season show, starting at 9 a.m. Bob, Dusty, Cody, C-Dot, and myself will all be in studio and on camera for 2 hours talking about what went wrong in 2025, the Chiefs' biggest needs in free agency, and who should they be targeting in the upcoming NFL draft. The Chiefs off-season show, starting at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, February 10th, right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one coaching carousel in the NFL. We know of interviews happening today or scheduled as well. Brian Daboll, the former Giants coach who also was the OC for Josh Allen many years ago. Him and Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts, are first up in Buffalo for in-person interviews, according to Diana Rossini of The Athletic. Also, a name we haven't heard in a while, Anthony Lynn, scheduled for an interview this weekend as the Buffalo Bills try to figure out what direction they are going in. We'll talk more about the chaos from today with Ross Tucker in just a couple minutes.
Absolutely messy press conference, in my opinion, where they make the job less appealing, which is a hard thing to do when Josh Allen is the quarterback. Really weird, really super weird. Next up on What's Trending, former Royal Carlos Beltran elected to the Hall of Fame yesterday. He'll join now Hall of Famer Andrew Jones as the two members inducted in Hall of Fame who have been on the list for a couple of years, both deserving Hall of Famers. Beltran will likely go in as a Met, but still spent his formidable years here in Kansas City. Obviously also won Rookie of the Year as a member of the Royals but he was one of 2 players elected to the Hall of Fame yesterday.
Local college basketball, all 3 locals were in action last night. KU on the road in Boulder got a 75-69 win as Jacques Vaughn was the acting head coach with Bill Self away after a trip to the hospital earlier in the week. KU telling media that was on site there in Boulder that he was back at home watching the game and right now is on track, it looks like, to be back at practice later this week. Missouri in Columbia last night dropped to number 21 Georgia 74-72. The Kansas State Wildcats got their first Big 12 win of the 2025-2026 season with an 81-78 victory against Utah.
Much needed. I mean, beyond needed is probably what to describe it. Doesn't really help them get to the tournament, but they needed something to feel good about. Next up on What's Trending, 2 news and notes from around baseball. The New York Mets have acquired outfielder Luis Robert Jr. from the Chicago White Sox. That happened late last night. Chicago will receive 2 players in exchange, including infielder Luis Angel Acuna, who is one of their top prospects from just a couple of years ago. Played in 90 games or so last year. Did not have a great season to start, but still, he'll go that way. Plus, Cody Bellinger got a 5-year deal worth $162.5 million from the New York Yankees, which includes a full no-trade clause.
That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Somebody was asking if we're going to have cloudy with a chance. Give a weather update tomorrow.
I haven't had him since camp.
We can see if cloudy's available.
These conditions.
The amount of bad guesses on who cloudy was. Still, I like that it's still such a mystery for everyone.
All I'll say is you guys have yet to guess the person. I won't tell you when you do, but I will confirm to you, you guys have not correctly guessed. How about that? People thought it was me for a while. And again,
it didn't sound anything like you.
Even doing a voice.
It wasn't Cloudy was not Bink, was not me. I'll leave it at that. It was nobody from this show. How about that?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Earlier today, Ross Tucker joined us. Ross Tucker, NFL, does a great job covering the league. He's been joining us every week throughout the football season. We started our conversation earlier today asking him about a bit of the chaos going on in Buffalo. You got the owner throwing Keon Coleman under the bus and trying to defend Brandon Beane. And it seems like things are a little rocky right now up there. And that's how we started our conversation with Ross Tucker.
It is funny. It feels like once a year, once every 2 years, we do have a lengthy debate about what a catch is or is not. I didn't really have much of a problem with the call.
Right.
And my big thing is hold on to the ball. Hold on to the ball. Don't let him rip it out of your hands. Just listen, you can even let him keep his hands on it. You just don't lose it because simultaneous possession, you get it. So I don't know. I mean, I always think it's funny. In life, you can choose to spend an inordinate amount of time making excuses and blaming others, or you can just hold on to the ball. Write that down. That's a direct quote for all of you in your lives. You can either blame others, pass the buck, or just hold on to the ball.
It is very funny you say that because I'll be honest, this previous week, the entire Bills organization and fan base, other than Josh Allen, I'll give him a brief preview, is coming off as the biggest group of crybabies, not taking any accountability for any of their own problems, like every year. Every playoff run is somehow not their fault. We didn't get the ball in overtime. They called a pass interference that didn't exist. We didn't hold on to the football. Every year is some excuse. And I don't know, like their owner today, Ross, the way he was talking, I'm like, maybe this is top down. Because the way he was talking today and throwing Keon Coleman under the bus, I mean, it made it seem like a less attractive job to me today all of a sudden, even though it should be the most attractive job with Josh Allen.
Ooh, I hadn't thought about that part of it in terms of the press conference being less attractive as a result. But it's probably true that it didn't really help. You know, I mean, it is attractive because of Josh Allen, but the last guy won a playoff game every year, and that wasn't enough. And that's okay. I can live with that part of it. I can live with saying, hey, being good enough to not get to the Super Bowl isn't good enough. So I can live with that part of it. But, yeah, I don't know that the press conference today probably was enticing. And even think about that for a second. You know, what's Kevin Stefanski thinking? What's John Harbaugh thinking? You'd think if the Bills thought this was a distinct possibility, they would have made sure that the representation for those two guys had a pretty good idea that, hey, just hold off before signing on the dotted line anywhere else.
We're talking to Ross Tucker here on Cody and Gold. Who do you think is a good fit there? I know the reports are Dable's very, very interested. Josh Allen likes Brian Dable. Who do you actually think would be the best fit?
Well, that's a really good question because I'm not sure that there's somebody out there that really gets me all that excited. It doesn't feel to me like a job for someone that, has never done it before. It feels to me like a job for someone that, maybe getting a second try. It honestly feels to me like a job for John Harbaugh or Kevin Stefanski, but they already have been hired elsewhere. So it puts them in a really tough spot. I mean, I guess they can get a Dayball or they can get Jesse Minter or Grant Yadinsky or any of these other guys, Joe Brady. What's your level of confidence that those guys are better at all than what you had in McDermott? That's part of firing a coach is having a pretty good feel that you'll actually be able to get a better one.
When you look at the rest of the league, and I know we'll get to this stuff in just a little bit, when you look at the rest of the league, do you think that there are teams, because if Darnold or May or some of these other guys, Stafford's already been there, jumped the line, it seems crazy to us that Darnold would have a Super Bowl or could have a Super Bowl before Allen, Lamar, Burrow. Like, there's got to be some part of that it feels like that's the impetus behind all these moves in the league.
Not even that he could have a Super Bowl. He could have gotten one. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson haven't even gotten to a Super Bowl, which is really just, it goes to show you how hard it is, and it's unbelievable accomplishment what the Chiefs have done during this run. And I know this year was a disappointment, but guys, I'm around the Philadelphia Eagles a lot, and I've seen, the 2 years they went to the Super Bowl, the year after they didn't even win a playoff game, and in 23 and this year. And I think it just goes to show how impressive it is what the Chiefs have been able to do during this run, and why I think Chiefs fans should have confidence and belief that it was just a down year and that they're going to bounce back.
What do you make of let's go to the AFC side first. Do you give Denver any chance with Jared Stidham to pull the upset on the Patriots? Their defense is obviously great, but that was one of the more surprising pieces of news I feel like we've gotten right after a playoff win in a long time, because you find out Bo Nix is done for the year, Stidham's going to start, and the initial impact is, well, they got no chance now. But defensively, do you give them some sort of hope?
I do. I do give them some hope. It's interesting. You guys know I have a betting podcast. It's pretty popular. It's the Even Money Betting Podcast. And I always think it's fascinating. I'd love to hear what the number is for Mahomes, by the way. But, my co-host is a sports bettor, sports handicapper, whatever. And he has Bo Nix as rated slightly better than an average quarterback. So what does that mean? It means Bo Nix is worth half a point. He has Jarrett Stidham as an average backup, which is 3.5 points worse than an average quarterback. So he's saying the difference between Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham on the betting line is essentially 4 points. He feels like the line has overreacted. I think that sounds about right to me. I think Stidham's pretty solid. My big takeaway has been, whether he'll never say this publicly, but this really works in Sean Payton's favor from a coaching legacy standpoint. It's almost like he gets a free roll. If they lose, no one's going to blame Sean Payton. No one's going to be down on them. They're going to say, well, he got to the conference championship game with Bo Nix, who's really just okay, and and Bo Nix got hurt. So what do you expect? But if he wins, if they somehow fit him in the Broncos, somehow win and get to the Super Bowl, then that greatly adds to Sean Payton's coaching legacy. So, he on some level, this works out perfectly for Payton in terms of the court of public opinion.
Totally with you. Yeah, I'm 100% with you on what it could do for Sean Payton. And also, in a weird way, do you think it could impact Bo Nix? Like, let's say Jarrett Stidham were to win the next 2 games and win a Super Bowl, and that offense looks either the same or whatever. Does that hurt Bo Nix at all?
Probably a little bit. Now, he would still be the starter next year, and it'd still only be his 3rd year. But I think that would be in the back of people's minds if he played poorly or at the end of the year, when it comes contract extension time. I think there's probably some Eagles fans that wish the Eagles would have stuck with Nick Foles rather than Carson Wentz, because of what Nick Foles had been able to do for them. So Wentz was the more talented guy. Wentz was the highly drafted guy. So I understand why they did what they did. But, yeah, if Stidham wins the Super Bowl, I don't think he's going to overtake Bo Nix for the starting job.
Sure.
But I think it definitely will create some intrigue going into next year.
I'm curious as a football player. We understand he will physically get a ring. We were in a debate the other day, which is if Stidham goes and wins the Super Bowl, do you get to say, if you're a Broncos fan, Patrick Mahomes has 3 rings, Bo Nix has 1? Or does Bo Nix get 0 rings for that? In the debate, not in the physical. I understand physically he gets the ring.
Yeah. I don't think he gets it.
I'm with you.
No, you don't put. You got to start in the Super Bowl for people to say you have a ring, because people don't, like in Philly, they don't really give that ring to Carson Wentz. They give that ring to Nick Foles.
Yeah, I think rightfully so, because that was like a week 11 or 12. I feel like this is officially the line for me, Ross, where I think about it, where it's like if they got hurt at the end of the AFC Championship game and they won the Super Bowl, I am to kind of assume they would have won the Super Bowl with their starting quarterback versus their backup. I might give it to him.
He's got to throw a pass in the Super Bowl. He's got to throw a pass. He didn't throw a pass.
I think they need to get to the Super Bowl. I think if Stidham wins 2, I don't think you can give that to Bo. That's the 2 most important wins of the season that he didn't accomplish.
Yeah. Right, we got Ross Tucker hanging out with us, of course, host of the Ross Tucker NFL podcast. Check him out on social if you don't already, at Ross Tucker NFL. On the NFC side, this Seattle team I feel like has been questioned, doubted all season long, and they just demolished the 49ers, who were so banged up, and now they get a host a Rams team. And I think a lot of people had viewed the Rams as maybe the only team that could go into Seattle and win this weekend. How likely do you think it is that Sean McVay and the Rams can get it done this weekend?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think they're probably the 2 best teams in the NFL, the 2 best teams left. I'll be on the sideline for that one, looking forward to it. Can't remember the last time I was in Seattle. But it feels like, and this happens, it feels like they're kind of 2 teams a little bit going in different directions. And it started really with the 4th quarter of their Week 16 matchup. That happens, and the Rams, they just haven't played as well. Especially on defense, they have not played as well. Meanwhile, the Seahawks have really just gotten better. And to beat the Niners twice, back-to-back games for them, by the way, and you hold them to 9 points, it's extremely, extremely impressive. And so I think the Seahawks are the best team. I think the Seahawks will win. I think the chance for the Rams, other than turnovers and blah, 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 but the chance is that Stafford plays like an MVP and Darnold plays below average. It really feels like that's what's going to have to happen. And interestingly, since I'm calling the game, I went back and watched that Week 16 matchup this morning, and Stafford played at a really high level. The Rams had over 500 yards of offense. Puka had over 200 yards receiving. Darnold had 2 bad picks, and the Seahawks still won. They still came back to win. Now, they got some good fortune, and Shaheed had a punt return touchdown, and blah, 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 but it does feel like the Seahawks are better, and the Rams need a Herculean effort from Stafford.
You were on the call, I think, in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, on Westwood One this past weekend, and I know they lost the game, but out of the teams that lost, is there anybody that's feeling, I guess, better about the future than Bears fans after what Caleb Williams, while yes, he makes the crucial pick late, that throw he made, though, to basically send it to overtime was one of the most ridiculous throws we've seen.
Yeah, that was insanity. And that was such a privilege to be there and witness that. I mean, I still can't believe it. When he was sprinting backwards, like 15 yards, and I was thinking, like, you're going the wrong way. And, I mean, it almost felt like at that point it had to be like a Hail Mary. You know, he threw it 51 yards in the air. It was an incredible play, and there's no question out of the divisional round losers, I think the team that feels the best is the Bears because it was already further than they thought they would get, number one. Number two, they beat the Packers. They came back and beat the Packers, their hated rival the week before. So it's almost like what I said about Peyton. You know, the divisional round was almost a free roll, and, you know, with the throws that Caleb Williams made in those back-to-back games, you're feeling really good about the future if you're a Bears fan.
Over on the AFC West side, what do you make of Mike McDaniel potentially being the OC there for the Chargers? Reports are obviously still in the running for some head coaching jobs, but if that doesn't land up, he's coming to L.A.
Well, makes sense. You know, his wife's from California. Southern California is a pretty nice place to live, and you get a chance to work with Justin Herbert. And honestly, the expectations are fairly low there in the sense that Herbert's never won a playoff game. So if you can win one playoff game and help the team win one playoff game, it's like you'll be considered the savior. And by the way, they had no offensive line. You're going to get both your offensive tackles back. It really puts McDaniel in a position to pretty easily surpass what, you know, they were able to do with Greg Roman this past year.
So that was Ross Tucker earlier with us today, and he joins us each and every Wednesday on the show. Got into quite a bit there on the Buffalo Bills and their mess today. And I agree with him on the Sean Payton part. You know, if they are able to figure out a way with Jarrett Stidham, and it really, let's be real, it'll be because of their defense. With their defense to upset New England, then Sean Payton does deserve all sorts of credit. Absolutely. Even if it's a defensive thing. And it will change how, I'm not saying you have to like him by any means. I don't think he's a likable person, but as a coach and his Hall of Fame case, then Sean Payton, it will improve that case, which is already very strong anyway.
Yeah, mostly just because if you coach for 15 years and win a Super Bowl and you're a coach, likely you are destined for the Hall of Fame anyway, like you said. But, I mean, it would be pretty damn impressive to get Jared Stidham.
Like, no, he does have.
What has been the only other team in the AFC. Yeah. These have been the two best teams in the AFC all year. These have been the number one and number two record teams all year. The only two teams fighting for the number one seed, the two teams at the top of the conference. It came down to the two who were battling for it the entire time. If you somehow get Stidham over the edge, and look, I still think they just lose to whatever NFC team they'd likely face, but if they beat the Patriots, I certainly can't rule out a Super Bowl win. And all the stuff that comes with it. I did think it was interesting. I thought the former player might say something different about the who gets credit for the I won a ring, and he's on your side. So I think we're agreeing that if the Broncos win the Super Bowl, it's not Bo Nix's ring. It's not Bo Nix has one ring, Patrick Mahomes has 3, or Bo Nix has 1, Lamar Jackson has 0.
Yeah, as a quarterback, I get it. Like someone the other day when we mentioned that, yes, if you're a running back and you carry the ball 6 times, yes, it's still we don't do that for running backs or wide receivers.
This is like
it's a quarterback only. It's a quarterback only thing. And yeah, if I'm the quarterback and I want to have it quote unquote attached to my name in the legacy type of discussions, I have to at least throw a pass in the Super Bowl at bare minimum.
Yeah, if he gets hurt at halftime, it can still be your ring.
Yeah.
But if it's like you didn't play in the AFC title game, you didn't play in the 2 most important games, the ones that are the hardest to win, it turns out, in order to get to the Super Bowl. It's just hard because my brain immediately thinks, well, if Stidham won both of those games, and what I think Bo Nix wasn't gonna, Bo Nix was gonna screw that up for him. But Stidham, like Jared Stidham, so like I don't know that part of it.
I do think the game will be closer than people think because of that defense. And Ross was bringing up like the betting angle to it, and it's true. Like Bo Nix is not worth 5.5 points.
I agree.
You know, and they're 5.5 point underdogs. So what is that?
Would they have been? They would have been favorites, I assume, if it was Bo Nix. It'd have been Pick'em point.
Pick'em probably, yeah.
Like I mean, it'd been right in that range.
Yeah.
So it'd be the full 5.5.
Someone says they want Pats Rams Super Bowl. I only want that just because we gave like an updated
13-3
prediction like a month and a half ago. Otherwise, I actually don't want the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
That was like 13-3, wasn't it? The one year, or was it?
Oh,
like, what,
well, they've obviously faced
game?
off twice in the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. Patriots and Rams Super
The
Bowl.
Brady
I'll be
golf
honest.
one.
I don't really want the Rams to win the Super Bowl again. I don't want the Patriots. I just want the Seahawks to win it. Is that so much to ask? Can the Seahawks please win the Super Bowl?
Drew,
I feel nothing.
In 2019, with 2019 it was 13-3, and then in 2002 was the 20-17. The St. Louis Rams at the time.
13-3. Goodness.
Yeah.
That's not even enjoyable football.
No, I don't want that kind of game. I think the Rams can definitely beat Seattle. We will get to that later in the week. However, Seattle right now looks like just a complete juggernaut in the National Football League. Like, they should be favorites for a reason to win it all right now.
Talk about top coaches in the league. Mike McDonald would skyrocket.
If we do, before the next season, if we do our new coaching rankings, if he wins the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold, woo!
Yeah,
he's going way up the list.
He would have to be top 3 probably with Tomlin being gone.
I don't know if I put him
Harbaugh
top 3.
Getting fired?
He immediately is inside the top 8.
Because here's the truth: Reed's 1, McVay's 2 for me, and that's not going to change no matter what happens for the rest of this season. Probably.
McDonald's only 38. I mean, we talk about just where his trajectory, though, to your point, could go. Yeah. I mean, this is only year 2 as an NFL head coach. Everybody loved him as a coordinator with Baltimore, but it's not like he, I forgot he was on that Michigan staff as well.
McVay might be 1 for me, but it's Reed or McVay, and it's right in that range. I'm giving Reed a lot of credit because before this season, he went to 3 consecutive Super Bowls.
Yeah, then there's that debate at 3, whether it's Shanahan or whether it's McDonald, who's in the same division, of course, as Shanahan. No, Harbaugh got fired. Tomlin's gone.
Yeah, and I still love Shanahan, and I continue to think he's done an excellent job coaching, and so he'd be pretty high on my list. And Harbaugh's still coaching, so he'd still be somewhat high on the list. And look, the truth is, like you just mentioned with Sean Payton, he's probably got to be somewhere in that ballpark inside top 10 area,
We've had 2 different people text in as we're about to wrap up for the day, so I guess we can address it now. Someone has said, who on your show is most excited for the Masters of the Universe trailer tomorrow?
What is that?
I have no idea what that is.
He-Man?
Masters of the Universe.
That's usually He-Man. When my parents had a very brief spell of being religious when we were kids, we weren't supposed to watch that because there's only one Master of the Universe.
Oh.
That's God.
Okay.
My parents had a very brief stretch. I didn't grow up in any kind of religion.
But I guess this trailer's tomorrow. So, yeah, I honestly, I'm not familiar with it, so I can't really comment.
I had Skeletor's Castle and played with some He-Man toys when I was a kid. I don't know. It's just I'm just outside probably like the peak age range for when that show was really popular in the 80s.